And we are back on the Starside Invitational. DoA here with Yuuj. We just saw 8 players play 4 games of awesome Teamfight Tactics. We saw a lot of really interesting stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We saw the open fort strats. We saw some good old Space Jam. We saw with the 6 protectors. We also saw some really interesting reroll comps with like the Leona, the Poppy, and then we also have the TF.
The Candyland comp, as they call it. The Leona, Poppy, TF, Zoe, trying to 3-star as many of those as you can. Early on with a bit of hyper rolling, bit of set 2-esque hyper rolling actually happening now since the patch yesterday.
Yeah, my favorite was the Celestial, the one with Zaya.
Yeah,
you had a good old static shiv going on with Rage Blade.
Yep, that's right. Did a lot of damage. Performed really well actually. But let's take a look at our lobby, or our second set of players anyway. Got a lot of familiar faces here. The big familiar face from the Chinese scene is going to be Godlike, who used to be known as Ackerman. Very famous top laner in League of Legends, played on a team called LMQ and a team called RNG. Actually made it pretty far in Worlds back in, I think it was 2014, if I remember right.
Back when they were at LMQ, they actually won NALCS back then, and as they say, they the Chinese came in and took our jobs basically that season.
I suppose, yeah. Now he's taking all the TFT points as well. We'll see how he does. But you mentioned Godlike was just #1 on the Chinese ladder just like a couple days ago.
Yeah, no, he climbed really far up, and it was pretty sick because he got all the way to near the very, very top of the ladder. And originally he did very well in set 1, and I hadn't seen him climb as much, but during the last few days he pushed really hard, played a lot of Cybernetics, and I think it was Cybernetics and Darkstar, which was really unheard of because specifically in NA, they don't really appreciate Cybernetics as much at that during last patch at least.
I would agree. I think a lot of people thought Cybernetics was good, but they just didn't think it was like an S tier comp every single time. But we'll see what people play today. Obviously, we had a patch yesterday. It was a big patch. Things have changed a lot already. Cybernetic's still solid. I think it might come back a little bit more. Dark Stars has been the comp that I've been a little bit surprised seeing ignored as much as it has been, as we're jumping in with Godlike himself to start the first game here in our second set of players.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to see what they're going to do here. I do think Godlike is very likely to stick towards like a Cybernetic type direction, just because it's something he's very familiar with, especially within this newer patch. They haven't had much time to prepare. Nobody
has.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And we're in the reroll galaxy as well. We should mention this. Yeah, that's right. So everyone is going to have even more of a chance to find some of those 3-cost 1-stars. Look at that. He's already got access to 4 poppies if he wants it.
I'm curious, like, why he hasn't bought those.
Oh, okay. I don't know. There he goes. Because you might as well. 1 2-star can very easily take out the 1-3 units.
Yeah, because the idea to me, the idea is, more or less, it's a 3. You're not losing any eco by making it, and it's just a 2-star unit. So
yeah,
definitely useful to have, regardless of what you are going.
Yep, that's right.
Well, 3 Zoes.
Wow. Yeah. Why not, man? Get another one in. That's 2 Star Guardians. 3
probably not going to take it, but.
It depends on what he wants to build, I suppose. But he is holding on to that Leona. It's very conceivable that he would find a Leona 2 pretty quickly as well.
Yep.
Yep.
He's holding on to his reroll though.
Yeah, he hasn't used the reroll yet, so I think he's waiting to see if he finds some money.
Oh, there's some money.
He does. Oh yeah. So now you pick up the Zoe.
Find his Zoes and rerolling.
Whoa, and another Zoe. Why not? Zoe Ari. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, you already know what he's going.
I mean,
you look at his face. He's so happy.
Well, the funny thing is, like, he's finding this stuff, and at the same time, he really hasn't had to commit anything extra to it. He's just been getting the money and being able to spend it. The Zoe
Yeah,
or another Poppy
he's
rather.
going down to the Candyland right now.
Yeah. One thing he did that was really smart early on that I liked was that he sold his first Poppy to get the item off from the carousel. Then he made the Poppy too. So
Yeah, so
making
that,
sure
that gives
that he
him a
had,
lot of leverage
yeah,
into shifting. A lot
maximum
of people
flexibility.
though would actually keep the rod because they would be trying to aim to build a ionic spark on her. So
Yeah,
they would
just in
actually
case you
some
don't
might
get
actually keep
anything.
the rod on her.
Yeah. I feel like that's too much of a commitment early on. You want to just keep your options
Yeah,
flexible,
of course, definitely.
Yeah.
If he had already known by the time, he probably would have just left it on there. But the choice that he did make was definitely the better choice.
Yeah. It's those little things. Like it's probably gonna be fine if the rod stays on Poppy, but just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Yeah, just in case you don't want to mess with that. All right, well, let's go see what Delicious Milk is up to. Now, this is a man that came into Giant Slayer series at the beginning of April and said, "Me Mech, no scout, no pivot." And he did that for the entire tournament, and he ended up winning the tournament by doing that as well. So here we are in another tournament, and is he going to put Mech to the test again? Hasn't picked up the
It,
Kaisa, but he does have a
it
two-star.
looks like it. I honestly think he's going to go Mech Infiltrator.
I don't know.
You already
Maybe
look
he'll
at these
pick up the Kaisa
Kazakhs.
if he wins.
Look at these Kazakhs. He's going Mech
There it
Infiltrator.
is.
There's no question about it.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. Out to prove that Mech Infiltrator is still the best comp in the game. I think it's going to be a little bit harder this time. Kyun tried it in our last set, and he had two pretty good games. He had a 1 and a 2, but then he also had a 7 and an 8. So again, it depends on the galaxy. I think this galaxy in particular, you can struggle a little bit as Mech Infiltrator because a lot of other people are going to be finding their power spikes with larger units sooner than you will have your mech online. So this is a little bit maybe trickier one to do it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely is a tricky situation. I think it's hard to say because Milk is keeping his chronos.
Yeah.
So, and as I say that, he sells some of his units, but he is trying to keep his chronos. And okay, never mind. He's not. He's looking for Mech. He's looking for a Mech.
Yep. Seems that way.
Definitely waiting to sell those graves if he wins. Otherwise, he will buy buy the Rumble.
Yep. And again, like if anything, Mech Infiltrator did get one boost early in the game, even as he loses that round. In that deaths reset the Infiltrator's speed boost at 2 Infiltrators, which they didn't before. So there is that. So at least, despite the mech getting nerfed by quite a bit, HP dropped again, and when the mech pilots pop out, they don't have any mana to start with anymore. Pretty big nerf, but Infiltrator's got a little bit of a buff. So I'm glad to see him trying it. I'm actually happy that he's appears to be giving this a shot.
Yeah, like as you mentioned before, we talked about this a little before with the Fizz not being able to, because they pop out with less mana. The Fizz is no longer likely to get his shark off every single time.
Right.
With the lack of the shark, Fizz is basically not a useful unit in the situation.
Well, the big thing is you're just going to lose a lot more of those mid-game rounds that you would have won because of the Fizz ultimate. When you're playing Mech Infiltrator, it feels like it's really common for that Fizz ultimate to be clutch in the mid-game. And so without that, where you're already operating as a pretty low HP composition a lot of times as Mech Infiltrator, you just take too much now sometimes. We'll see.
Sure. One thing I found interesting in last round was the fact that Milk decided to sell his 2-star Kazakhs instead of selling the 2 graves and buying Rumble just because he didn't win the round.
Yeah.
Just for that one gold.
Right.
Which, especially in a reroll galaxy, I feel like saving those Kazakhs is actually really useful.
Right. Kazakhs 3 did get a buff. A lot of the one costs got buffs. So there's that. Moving on now with Huya, who has the Cybernetic Space Pirate Blaster start. How did I do in the pronunciation? Was that okay?
I think that was fine.
Huya? All right. Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, so he's going for the gold, as much gold as he can right here with the Darius. Yep,
Yeah.
and there's the
Oh, dunk denied. But that Zaya with the static shiv and the rage blade is going to be impossible to deal with for that round at
yep.
least.
Solus also going with the Rage Blade Shiv Zaya.
Right. So Solus is a player that really kind of recently has been known for playing Dark Stars, most notably taking an account from brand new to challenger in just 28 games of Dark Star. Now, Dark Stars they did take a bit of a hit in the last patch that happened yesterday and have really dropped off in our first lobbies today. We didn't have a single 6 Dark Star player in any of the 4 games, as far as I remember right. If I'm
Yeah,
remembering right.
we nobody touched Dark Stars at all.
Right. So that's alarming. That hasn't been the reflection on the NA ladder today. There's still a lot of people having success with Darkstar, but I think there is a lot less incentive to go for 6 Darkstar specifically because it's
Yeah.
only like a 5 AD and AP boost now.
Yep. I see. We're just seeing a lot more dominance with like
Whoa.
people in general playing Darius.
Hmm.
Super common. Like you even see 2 Darius on the field right now.
Why not? You know.
More
And
dunks.
that's something that people have been doing a lot more as that's something you usually see as a set continues to evolve, in that you start to realize there are places where you can just put 2 of the same unit in, instead of trying to go for like stretch synergies or something like that, where you're just like, well, this unit's really good, I'm just going to put another one. So 2 Darius early on is not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Huya rolled down to 20 gold right there just to try to hit some units.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he hit a whole lot though.
Yeah,
We got
normally people would roll down after the PvE round, not during the PvE round. They
yeah,
would try to
that
beat the other people for rolling down, but
that is a bit surprising. Another Darius. Solus on board with him now. Again, building that Zaya. He's got the makings to add in Chrono with the Shens, but again, like we talked about this build earlier, Chrono is sort of like the fallback way to make this work in some cases. A lot of people trying to turn this into a 6 Blademaster build
yeah.
and then just add on more static shivs. But I think a Rage Blade is it's a good replacement for a second static shiv.
Yeah, definitely because just building up the speed is just as useful as just more damage. The
Yeah.
idea behind the Celestial is Static Shiv is really, really good with Celestial since you do so much spread damage that you just heal so much more.
So you can see too that Solus is also leaving himself open to Dark Stars. He's got the Ash, he's got a 2-star Jarvan, and if anyone is going to play Dark Star tonight, I would imagine it's going to be Solus. He's one of the like preeminent experts in the synergy in North America.
Yeah, it does. He's definitely leaving the option open, keeping the Jarvan, which normally a lot of people would have removed by now.
Yeah, I really like the 4 Vanguard adaptation. It's a very, very tanky front line, especially with the Poppy 2. Mordekaiser will be holding the line pretty well as well. And meanwhile, you've got Zaya tearing people up from the back lines.
Yeah, Zaya is definitely just hanging around here right now because Sola's definitely not trying to do hyper roll
No.
at all. I believe he's using the Zaya as an item holder right now, and then in the future planning on replacing that Zaya with the ones on his bench.
Yep. Could be a Kale as the item holder. And you can see with the free reroll, he's basically just like buying his bench out each time and then just selling back up to the gold he was at if he doesn't find anything. And that's kind of a cool technique with the trade galaxy is that you basically get 2 shops without sacrificing much gold. If you do what he did, where you just buy out the shop and then roll and then just get all your money back if you don't need it, right?
Yeah, it's more or less the idea of taking all the champions outside of out of the pool and then rolling and making your chances a little bit higher.
Right. Wow, that's
So
static
for those
shit.
of you who are playing trade sector, always do that.
Yeah, it's you don't lose any money a lot of times, and you might find your 2 stars faster. Might be able to high roll into something you really need. It's just a cool way to play it.
Yep. So Zaya is still doing really well in carrying. I think she'll probably be able to carry all the way till at least stage 4.
Well, Pikachu, the most reliable Pokemon a lot of times, so no surprise there.
Yep, your best friend. And there's the Kale.
Yeah, rolls
Definitely
past it,
what?
though, did he? Oh no, he did pick it up. Okay.
Yeah. Looks like he might put her in soon, but he definitely wants to keep the Zaya around as long as possible.
Right.
Maybe even,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is a Blademaster.
Yep.
So it does have that benefit, even after he does swap those items onto a Kale at some point.
I
Which
think
is
he definitely
probably going
wants
to
to
be
keep
healed.
the Shiv on the
Exactly.
Zaya though.
Yeah, Shiv on the Zaya and then the Rage Blade on the Kale generally.
Yeah.
I say generally, but it's like, yeah, that would I imagine with this comp that people are discovering right now.
Science Saren actually contesting the Mechs.
That is a brave thing to do.
So Milk gonna have some trouble here. You've got double Mech players.
Good, somebody's got to do it. Nobody contested him in Giant Slayer series.
Yeah, so I failed to mention this earlier. Science Saren is also a one-trick Mech player on the Chinese server. So
Well, the funny thing is, like, I don't think I would even call Delicious Milk a one-trick Mech player. I think he's just basically I think at this point it's just proving a point. I think he's just
I think
seeing
he's trying
how
to prove a
long he
point.
can make this work, to kind of just show, the opinion about the Mech infiltrator and what it does to lobbies.
Yeah, I definitely think Milk is trying to send a message at this point,
Oh yeah.
but it is very funny because you're basically asserting your dominance, saying that you will not bail out, and then it's basically a chicken fight to see who leaves first.
I mean, he's won nearly every one, so. All right, I like this start. Cybernetics, Brawlers, Chrono, and Blaster. This feels like a very decent mid-game comp. He's going to run into something pretty similar on Karam X's side. Team Liquid's own Karam X with the double Infinity Edge Aurelia, but only an Aurelia 1, so not going to live that
Once
long.
he gets that Aurelia online, though, it will be very, very scary.
Yeah, that's a player where, like, you win this fight if you're Shendu and you're like, all right, I'm gonna need to remember this guy and like keep scouting him, because as soon as he gets, like you said, that Aurelia online, I gotta really watch my positioning. So all right, Lucian
Got that
2.
Lucian, and you want to keep those items on Lucian though? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where worst comes to worst, you can move those items off
And you
because
just remake the Lucian.
yeah, exactly. And Lucian is going to put those items to good use in the meantime anyway, because you can see what he's carrying, and he's kind of got like a little bit of misfortune with the Seraphs. He's got, like, you can put the red buff back on him, or you can put it on a Jinx, and then the Rage Blade, generally you would put on a Jinx.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of really good items for that Lucian. Like, those are really good items in general just to have on him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it'll carry him a long way.
Did you see somebody had a Jinx already with a double Giant Slayer? I didn't see who that was, but
I did not see that.
yeah, I think he's trying to
Would
find
that
again.
been? Could have been Soju? I know there's a
Maybe.
lot of Brawler Blaster players in this lobby, so
There's a lot of Brawler Blaster players in every lobby right now.
I mean that's true. It's just the most consistent comp because you only need a 2-star everything. You don't have to hit the 3 stars. It just helps.
Right. You can focus on economy. It's a red buff can help carry you at a very high HP. Okay, so it's Soju actually. Yeah, finding the early Jinx.
It can go a long way, for sure.
Oh yeah, with 2 Giant
Although
Slayers.
I definitely do think he needs to pick up a red buff at one point. Otherwise, any protector comps are just going to drive him insane.
Yeah, I mean, red buff is, playing giant or playing blasters without a red buff. You're only going to get so far. You might be able to top 4, but you're not going to win a lobby probably.
Yeah. Ooh, there's another Aurelia.
Yeah, 2 Aurelias already. So
he's definitely trying to find it. The last one. If he finds it, he'd be really happy. But yeah.
Nice addition, but he's got time. If he does go towards cybernetics, he's got a very comfortable comp to kind of like ride through the mid game with.
Oh yeah. It's just he literally just has no items for Aurelia. None of these
Yeah.
items work with Aurelia.
Well, that's the only thing is, I mean, it's unfortunate because Brawler Blaster is really contested, but that's really what he's got the items for right now. In fact,
Milk
he's
actually made a
great.
force of nature.
Yeah.
He's got a force of nature sitting on his bench.
Hmm.
Helpful, but Milk's gonna have to roll down very, very soon.
Yeah. Well, Delicious Milk is no stranger to being under 30 HP and then coming back and winning lobbies. So it's rough, but this is definitely not the end of the line for him. Probably
There's the
not. I mean, you
drinks.
can just bomb out with Mech, but we've seen him come back from this situation a lot.
So this is probably going to be a Brawler Blaster Aurelia comp
Yep.
from what it seems like.
I think you are correct.
Considering what to take off right now.
The big question is, when do you give up the cybernetics? And I think the answer to that is probably when you hit 4 brawlers. When you find that Cho'Gath, probably time to swap. But it's a big deal because it's not just about your front line, right? You're reducing Lucian's damage when you do that too. You need him
Yeah.
to carry right now.
Huya has actually hit the 3-star Darius, so
With a death cap.
Space Jam
Yeah,
is a go.
indeed. The Space Jam is well underway at this point. Vi 2.
And buys out the whole shop, rolls again.
Yep, you just resell it.
Sells the whole shop.
Yeah. Okay, so really hoping that he can find that Cho'Gath now. I think that's kind of the main idea. He's going to go ahead and swap in blasters anyway. Yeah, just goes right up to 4 blasters. Okay. Because you have to find some way to spike that power now. The Jinx is not going to get you a lot of damage in, but that Lucian can still really carry. Oh, that feels bad. Just to run into somebody else that has that Cho'Gath. Jinx 2 now. I'd say better items for Shendu, but better units for Soju at the moment.
Yeah, Soju definitely has the better items, but
Red buff power right there for
red buff
Shendu.
is too strong. Soju just needs that red buff. He's got that chain vest sitting there waiting for the giant belt to come in.
Yep. Because, yeah, it's exactly what I said. Champions, Soju had it, but Shendu had the more crucial items. Another win for Space Jam. As what else would they be doing?
Hmm.
What does he need? Oh, that would be an Aurelia too, with a vest.
I would say he looks like he wants to. No, Giant's belt's gone. Probably the Aurelia in this case.
I mean, Aurelia 2 with the vest is good. Otherwise, okay, so he's gonna grab the
Tier.
tier.
What is he
And
trying to
I'm
make
trying to
with
think of
this
what he
tier?
has that would pair with the tier. Does he have like an extra belt sitting around that he could make like a
Yeah,
redemption?
he's probably gonna make redemption. He's gonna put it on the Leona.
All right.
Probably.
Oh yeah, that's right. He had a belt on the Leona. That's probably right then.
Kurum now has 6 cyber.
Mm-hmm. All
That
right. So
Aurelia
found the
does
Echo.
so much damage. It just dies instantly.
Yeah.
He really needs a 2-star Aurelia.
The
I
ultimate
think
glass
there's
cannon.
so many Aurelias in this lobby already that it's going to be really hard for anyone to get a 2-star Aurelia.
Going forward, this is
Before
going to
people
be the
die
biggest
off.
challenge for Cybernetics, is that the challenge does not come from finding the Echo anymore as much. It comes from finding an Aurelia 2 because of Brawler Blaster, weirdly enough.
Yeah, not even a part of the comp, but she plays cleanup really, really well. So
Yeah, well, she's definitely part of the comp now.
yeah, I mean, in terms of like a blaster brawler type deal, but
Yeah.
definitely really good cleanup.
Speaking of cleanup,
Kurum down to his last. No, he can take one more hit, as long as he doesn't lose too hard.
it's a bit early, and you don't often see people die before Arc Raptors, but both he and Delicious Milk are on the verge of it. Kaisa 3 for Delicious Milk right now, though.
Yeah, I think
That
Milk
sidebar.
might be rolling down.
Oh
It's
yeah,
very
for sure.
likely.
Well, you are pretty much
I'm just
on the
sitting
last
in here waiting for after. I think he's gonna roll down after Arc Raptors to see if he can hit that Aurelia too.
I wonder if a really bad loss would finish him off. I'm always bad at the math of these stages in the game, but
I
16
don't think he
very
will lose really badly. His comp isn't going to enable him to lose super badly in this situation. However,
well,
yeah,
runs
no,
through
he should be
Kale
fine.
comp.
Even if he loses, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to lose by very much. And it looks like he's actually
Usually you have to lose with more than 5 units because it scales really,
right.
really
He
high.
wins just barely. A new lease on life as he takes a chunk out of Solus, who's down to 36, so getting a little bit low himself.
Oh, well, he found the Aurelia, so lucky for Kurum.
All right. Yep.
Doesn't
A
have
little bit
to
more on.
necessarily, well, he doesn't have to necessarily roll down, but he might just maximize his chances. Or he might try to push.
Oh, look at that. All 4 3 stars have been found by Godlike.
Yep.
Coming in and showing us a new comp. I'm curious to see how he's going to transition out of it, though. Meanwhile, Arc Raptors delivering a Giant Slayer to Karamex, or let's see what else he can combine. He can make a, Giant Slayer. He can also make a Z-Drop portal on Echo, I guess.
Chances are he could just drop the items on his other units as well, just to give them a slight stat boost.
Yeah, I think that might be the play.
I think you make
He's only
one
at 5
item or
Cybernetics,
something.
though. He needs to. He's missing a Leona, actually.
It's on his bench. He just needs to put it in.
Oh, sure.
I just don't know if he needs to do this fast. Oh,
He did not put it in.
I think he griefed.
Uh-oh.
I don't think he realizes that he didn't put his 6 cybers in.
Yeah, because you'd think he would definitely want that. Well, dead now. Oh, I think he realized now. Yeah, I think he just noticed.
He definitely just realized that he accidentally took his cybernetic.
Oh, that kills me. That's so hard to watch. We've all done that. Like it's comforting in a way that even a
It's
player
one of
as
those
good as Carmex still
Godlike barely surviving that round actually with that poppy doing a lot of damage, but it just happens too much. Like you're so focused on something else that you forget.
Yeah. Oh no, it happens to everybody, and you can see, like I said, even a player as good as Karamex, who's one of the best in North America. Once in a while, you just forget. You just make that mistake. You're thinking about other synergies, especially in a new patch where new options are available, and you kind of you neglect the basics for a moment, and that costs you. So now the question is, Delicious Milk.
He's getting out-meched right now.
He is. Scion is ahead of him. Doesn't have the Kaisa 3
because he knows he can make it, but he can make a Kaisa 3, but he's not in a rush.
Yep, just kind of has to wait for Delicious Milk to die, really. If Delicious Milk
nope, that's not going to happen this round.
Well, let's see.
I don't think TF has enough damage to
TF
do.
can't win this. Yeah. Right? Oh, that was
very
close though. Wow. That was a godlike, our lobby leader, beaten by Delicious Milk. He's coming up. Oh no, it's happening. I was gonna say, don't put another Rumble in there. Then you don't know who's gonna make the Mech.
I think got a Ziggs in there just to get some demo.
I like it.
Right. Interesting take though. Like he knows that Milk rolled down a lot, was playing a certain way, so he pushed to 8 instead with his mechs, so that he's more likely to win general fights.
Sure. He just needs to stay alive until Delicious Milk wins one fight. Now, Huya going up against Saihan here. And Darius is dunking.
Oh, Darius dunked the Mech super hard, too.
He's never going to stop. Oh, he stopped. Delicious Milk, though.
Milk should still win this.
Yeah.
But Milk is very soon, people are going to start hitting bigger power spikes, and Milk is going to start struggling, I think.
Quite possibly. Without the Demolitionist Kaisa, because I don't think he had that, might be a bit of a challenge. Still, though, having all those 3 stars helps a lot.
Saihan going for the what is it called?
Hmm?
The mana reduction.
Oh, the cloak?
Yeah, the cloak.
Yeah. Yep. And that's a pretty valuable one too to kind of sneak out some
It
round
definitely,
one.
definitely helps against any of the mana heavy champs,
Yeah.
especially like the TF comp. Any amount of delay is going to help a tremendous amount.
So Soju needing to think a lot about his positioning right now. You don't want to get that MF grab, but you definitely want to have her on one of the edges as well. Looks like he's probably scouted the Blitzcranks and doesn't think she's going to get picked up.
Wait, Soju has Rebel, but he's not taking advantage of it at all.
Okay. I mean, sometimes you just need to like focus on the positioning, I suppose. But
Yeah,
MF deleted immediately. Is the reroll comp going to be strong enough?
it's strong.
Oh my goodness,
He
that is
doesn't
terrible.
have red buff. Oof, very
Yep.
close to dying here.
That Poppy though, like I was playing this comp earlier today,
Milk
and
goes down to the other mech player,
oh
or
wow,
actually, he takes down the other mech player. Sorry.
Delicious Milk did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that reroll comp that Godlike is playing is terrifying. When you get Poppy 3 with some tanky items like that, especially Titan's Resolve, she actually starts to do a lot of damage. Because she'll hit 50 stacks almost every fight.
So
And
Milk
it's
actually ended
scary.
up getting a 3-star Kha'Zix too, even after selling his 2-star Kha'Zix
Yeah.
in the early game.
That's surprising because the percentage is just so much lower.
Yeah, but when you're the only person rolling for Kha'Zixes at that point, especially in a reroll galaxy,
True enough.
chances go up.
All right. Come on and slam. And Darius
He's
did get stopped on the first
Darius.
one. Oh, he's gonna go.
Oh,
Oh, he's not
he's
gonna go
back
down.
up again, and he's back to full HP.
Yep. Well, that's the celestial buff for you.
And
Sona helping
Soju
heal him
goes
up a little
down.
bit, and that Soju taken out, dunked into 6th place. Delicious Milk winning another one against Shendu. Oh boy. He can't keep getting away with it. He's got so much experience now that even though it's contested, he can still win. He is crushing right now.
Milk has managed to get 4 3-stars, which is pretty solid for a mech comp.
Yeah, for someone who's contested, he's just going for the straight up demolitionist ad with the gangplank.
He's getting another, literally getting another infiltrator.
Yeah, so you can make high
Infiltrator
size
game Let's go.
it's not bad. Like the attack speed, especially with the Shojins, I would not be opposed to that, honestly. But the fact that it's only 1 star,
He got another spatula.
oh my gosh, wow.
What is he
There's
gonna
nothing you can
do?
use a spat on, but you know. This is just the game trolling Delicious Milk because it's giving him a bunch of spatula stuff, but not the demolitionist spatula.
Yeah.
So who becomes an infiltrator?
He just puts in Ari for
Yep,
the
you want
sword.
sorcerer. And I would imagine, I was
The
gonna guess it was gonna
tail
be
seems like a good idea.
it's the most logical choice, although GP with the Shojins, with the attack speed, would ult very quickly, but he would also die very quickly. So, I think this is the safer bet. Going up against Godlike now and Delicious Milk on the run.
He's like, I am scared.
He's like, I'm getting out of here, man. Mech's doing okay, but
The
Poppy's
mech could do
powering up.
something if the mech gets an ult off.
I mean, GP ult did a lot of work
Maybe.
there. Oh my gosh, Poppy hit 50 stacks. This fight is going a long time.
Definitely hoping that someone else dies first.
That's right. Oh no, it's too much.
Milk snuck his way into top 4.
He did. He managed to take 4th exactly. He finished 1 spot above the other mech player.
Yep.
Saihan finishing 5th. So Delicious Milk in the end, just living barely long enough. Let's check out what Godlike is up to. He's on the verge of winning this first lobby. He is incredibly strong.
He's got 2 Nikos sitting on his bench. So he's
Disgusting.
like 2 Nico helps. He could very easily make another 3-star very soon.
That Wukong 3.
Yeah, Wukong 3.
So it's gonna be a battle of the
re-rolling through the protectors.
Yeah.
The Space Jam comp looks really strong as well.
It is very strong, and it's very explosive as well. So I wonder if
Six
you can
three
burst something
stars.
down.
6 3-stars right now.
Yeah, that's a lot. The CC out of the Space Jam combo, I think, is going to be a little bit too much for Godlike's comp to handle. Oh, and the Lulu ult as well. That's something we hadn't talked about. Is Polymorph is going to just swing the tide so much in Hudier's favor.
Yeah, the Space Jam comp is just destroying. It seems like it's
Yeah,
probably gonna win this lobby again. Like, not gonna Sendu just going down because both of those lobbies are way too strong.
yeah, you're going to die to one of those ghosts for sure. So yeah, it looks like Space Jam's going to take it. And when it comes down to it, this comp is still very underdeveloped, and I would wager that people are going to need to find a way to swap away from Zoe 3 and TF3 in the late game. I think there are going to be some stronger, higher cost 2-star units than Twisted Fate and Zoe that can give you better synergies. I don't know what those are, but that's just kind of my feeling watching this comp throughout the day.
Oh, well, okay, so it was either Zoe or Ari, right? Those are the star. I don't know if Syndra would probably be better than
No,
Zoe.
I wouldn't put any
I
Star
wouldn't think
Guardians
so.
in. I just wouldn't run Star Guardians.
Yeah, so then in that case, you would substitute a different Sork instead of Zoe, because the idea is those two have Sork.
Yeah, probably. Or like I said, like other synergies that haven't been explored as much yet.
Definitely room for exploration.
Yeah, you could go. I would
Celeste
say
go up there.
you could maybe
Celeste.
go up to like 4 Vanguard build and go Vanguard Mystic and
Who
just
do you wants the Celestial? I think no, or the Red Bull or the Morellos, because the
Morello's.
Celestial would have also been good for him.
Morello's is a. Oh wait, I was looking at the other guy. All right, so Hand of Justice probably for Mordekaiser, right? Do you
He
see
needs to sell another. He needs to sell a unit to put in. He's in an awkward situation.
sold the
He's
Leona?
Nico.
Lulu 2 incoming. And he's going to roll to see if he can find it naturally. No. Wait, I thought he had 2 Nikos. Oh, he used one, but
He
it
used
doesn't
one.
matter.
He used one to level. I think
The Soraka, maybe? I didn't quite see what he did, but
he forgot to
either
buy a
way,
unit. I'm pretty sure he has 8 units on the board right now, right?
possibly. It's not going to matter, though, because
Yeah, I don't think it matters just because the one unit is going to make a difference. The Space Jam comp is way too strong.
Yeah, that was the interesting end to that. It seemed like he wanted to find a Lulu too, but couldn't quite make it happen.
Oh,
But
never
either
mind.
way,
Yeah,
exciting first game. It's cool to see that comp do as well as it will. I think what that comp gives you. Keep in mind, Godlike was like 30 hit points above the rest of the lobby for a lot of that game, and I think that's really what this new real roll comp gives you is the ability to get this like big lead out ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I
And
think it almost guarantees you a top 4. It's
seems that
just
way.
very difficult to actually close out the game unless people aren't hitting their other stuff, especially against another reroll comp that takes advantage of 2 costs,
Well, it's
which
cool to
is
see.
the Space Jam comp.
Yeah, it's neat to see this comp being developed right in front of us because people know what's good early, right? These 4 units seem very good early, but it clearly doesn't carry enough to win lobbies against ideal existing comps. We know that Poppy needs to be tanky, but I really think that Twisted Fate and Zoe are kind of like the flex characters in that comp, where like maybe you focus on 3-starring the Zaya instead of one of those 2, and you find other synergies that work with that. Maybe.
Yeah, I think out of all
I
the
wonder.
1 costs, Zaya is one of the ones that scale the best into the late game.
Right.
Poppy does scale really well as well if you're going to go into Vanguards.
Well, Poppy stays for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of trying to figure out what balance is the best. Because
Yeah.
TF does do a lot of damage. It just at one point it just becomes very inconsistent due to the way the cards spread.
Mhm.
You're not necessarily always going to hit what you want to hit, and so it's very hard to say that at that point those 2 units can carry because
Yeah.
your carry becomes shifting to your front line, which is vanguards, and you're just keeping them alive with Mystic as well. That they don't really have any sustain or anything, and eventually people are strong enough by stacking their carries to burn down your front line.
Right. I almost wonder if maybe you go something like as we jump into lobby number 2 here. Looks like we're gonna start things off with Huya. I kind of wonder if maybe there's a possibility of going like Kazakh's Malphite and then going for 2 tanky vanguards, and then 2 brawlers in Shogath and Malphite, and then adding on a Vel'Koz and getting Void in the end, and have like an insane front line, and then the insane damage of Void.
Yeah, a lot of that would come from being able to actually hit the Vel'Koz damage. And you see Milk over here saying, "Well, Mech," which basically says "me Mech" in Chinese.
Well, and as far as Vel'Koz hitting things, that's just positioning. Like we've figured out enough about how Vel'Koz acts that you can get pretty consistent results with him. He's still not great, but Brawler Void was good for a while, and I think maybe there's an option to bring that back now. But I don't know, just theory crafting, just going off the top of my head here. But I know that comp that we just saw Godlike play. I know there's got to be a better way of doing that. That's like the most obvious first thing people have done, and it's good. But I think we can do better. I think there's a better comp out there.
Yeah, there definitely is. I think it just takes a little bit of testing. People are
That's where
going
I come in.
doing what they've tested already in this tournament, as people try not to experiment too much,
Mhm.
and the meta will keep developing as much as they can.
Right. I'm excited. I'm already excited to wake up tomorrow morning and play a bunch of TFT and test things.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be more brawler blasters this game from
Yeah.
the looks of it.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of Brawler Blasters for this whole patch right now until people figure out things that beat it consistently. But I think the only thing that prevents Brawler Blasters from dominating every lobby is that not everyone can have red buff all the time.
Yeah, more or less. It's you need Giant Slayer, you need red buff. If you can't get both of them, you
Yeah.
tend to struggle very hard.
Yes. That is definitely true.
Yeah.
So we'll see now what Huya continues to add. Really wanting to find that red buff. And this is a normal galaxy as well.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while.
I think it's like, what is it, like down to like a 35% chance only to have a normal galaxy? Is that right?
It's just generally a lot harder these days to get a normal galaxy, but that's good. It adds a lot of variety. The game is generally more fun for the audience
I don't
and
mind
just
that.
general casual players if you have more variety.
I honestly don't mind that. I really do. It's not like in Rise of the Elements, the elemental hexes were kind of like, whatever. Sometimes they're useful. A lot of times you just ignore them. But I love the galaxies. I love the way that it makes you play the game differently and think differently each time. The only
Yeah,
one
it
I'm not a
definitely
big
makes
fan
a
of is
huge
Lilac.
shift on the meta, which is what the Rise of the Elements intended on doing, is to make the maps different, and it definitely shifts the meta a lot by having these galaxies, and they're actually really fun. It just adds a little bit more of RNG in there, and as competitive players, some people like RNG, but for the casual player base and a viewer base, they do like a little bit of RNG, right?
Yeah. I mean, every competitive game has a little bit of variance, so it's and a lot of people who are less familiar with TFT see it as a very random game. But once you're familiar with how the rolling percentages work, and you're better at estimating odds and stuff, then the variance gets, I think, very low in this game. It can still come back to bite you, but not as much as people think. Looks like on track for a 4 Vanguard start is Solus. He's got a nice space pirate Vanguard beginning already.
Yeah, I see a lot of people actually managed to find Jace really early, and so they're just trying to do their best with their pirates.
Yep.
Everyone's trying to make more gold.
Poppy just hit the graves. Just hit him. Poppy, you're tilting me. This is like the worst when like there's someone with 1 HP right next to your last guy, and it's like, just kill him. I just want to take a little bit less damage.
Yeah,
Another
aggro.
Jace.
Wow.
Oh, and
Wow.
uses the Nikos right away.
Snap uses that Nico.
Dude,
Gonna
that
use
is big. That's a huge moment for Solus. This is a moment where you might just start win streaking.
Yeah, when you get a 3-star, I mean a 2-star Jace at like 2-3, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, because you're still before you
Especially
have
because
any
it's a
chance of
normal
hitting them from the
galaxy,
lobby.
not like Nicoverse or anything. It's a normal galaxy.
Yeah. That's the equivalent. That's almost the equivalent of like finding a Xerath 2 or something like that. At like level
Unlike
8.
with the Mech start, the
Uh-huh.
infiltrator start looks maybe looking at Mech because he literally only has he's hard ecoing basically at
Oh,
this point. Oof, the
hey,
Jace.
I mean, the Morellum Namicon is very tempting. So you see that Morellum Namicon and you're like, all right, I can slam this on the Kai'San and maybe win some early rounds. But then you run into a Jace 3 or a Jace 2 rather that should have never existed.
Yeah. Godlike is contesting the Mech this time. So
Yeah.
Milk not gonna have it that easy.
No, and it's interesting to see people do this. Because again, I feel like it really just comes down to early items a lot of times in mech versus mech, and you sort of like muscling in mentally against the other mech player and saying, you need to give up because you're never going to be able to execute that comp as well as I can this game. And
Yeah.
so that's where
Well,
like the little mind games come in. Like if I'm doing that, every little upgrade I get that I think makes me better than that player, I'm pinging myself. I'm pinging like his board with the question mark thing, and I'm pinging my board to be like, hey, check it out, check it out. I'm doing better than you. Give up, you know? And it
yeah.
works. It forces
Normally you
people
would
off it a
see
lot of times.
someone in this case, you would always see someone pinging Solus's board going, what is this? Why do
Yeah.
you have a 2-star Jace this early in the game?
I'd be pinging my own board at this point. Be like, check it out. And check it out in despair. I have 2-star Jace. So Solus picking up a couple, just a couple dark stars here. Has a Shaco on the bench, but he wants to make Econ.
Yeah, it's just kind of he's just throwing stuff in right now. I don't know. I guess the Jarvan is just there to kind of give attack speed. Doesn't really do anything other than that. I don't know
Yep.
if he's planning on keeping it long term, but
All right, doesn't pick up the Shaco. There's no real way he could put it to use right now, so better to just grab the Ari for he was thinking maybe Star Guardian Sorcerer for a second there, as just like an extra 2 Sorc to pair with Poppy, maybe, but finds a better option instead in
I
terms of
think it was
selling things.
more or less just to lower the 2 cost rates. I guess just so
Perhaps.
he might find something that he wants.
Yeah, looking for maybe a Darius to replace the Graves with.
Yeah, and then he's sitting on the bench ready to sell those Zayas as
Yep.
soon as if he doesn't make
Also,
enough gold.
I mean, the big thing is a Mordekaiser, right? Finding a Mordekaiser would unlock 4 Vanguard, which would be
Yeah,
amazing. So he'd
that's
love to replace
definitely
the
what
Jarvan.
he is looking for right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Oh
the
wow,
don't
that
start,
Jace did
but
so much damage. It
yeah,
one shot the Darius.
he's sitting for like 500 plus per shot now.
Yeah.
Probably more, depending on if the depending on how the Hand of Justice activates.
Yeah, I think he definitely had the spell damage there.
Could be.
GA on their Poppy over there with Kerma.
All right. Quick scouting around to everybody else. I mean, the thing is, like early game in TFT right now with the new patch, just feels like get some Vanguards. Like no matter what you're playing, no matter what you're planning going to do, just buy a couple Vanguards. They're
Yeah,
so
it's
strong
just
now.
the Vanguard because 2 Vanguards is just way too good right now. They just have too much armor. They're the best front line you can get early game.
I was really surprised that they buffed 2 Vanguards as much as they did.
Yeah, they basically doubled the armor that they would normally receive.
Yeah.
And 2 Vanguards are really, really easy to get.
I mean, I like that it opens up perhaps some other compositional options that need a tanky front line. You know, like some chrono-based things, some blademaster stuff. You can get away with only having 2 Vanguards now because the armor is a lot better. Rage
Yeah, but it
Blade
seems like
on the
they do
Jade.
definitely do need to have adjustments in terms of your other front lines need to be viable in that aspect too.
Sure.
So maybe slight buff the brawlers at 2. Who knows?
Oh, I don't know. That's
I mean,
that's playing with fire, man.
yeah, I mean, if you play with that, it just everything just one thing and it leads to another.
Yeah. Let's see.
But
Red buff on Leona early on, so that's going to get moved. Pretty much as soon as he finds another Leona, since he just needs that third cybernetic. But looks like a Brawler Blaster start for Saihan.
this definitely looks like a eventual Space Jam comp. He's already committed. He's made the death cap.
For Soju? Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for Soju.
Yeah. No, you don't put a death cap on Darius unless you're planning on committing your heart and soul to Darius that game.
Yeah.
Well, there's a Mordekaiser that Solus
I
was
feel
looking
like Saihan was considering going Mech infiltrator, but at this point he was just holding it.
Sure.
And then he's realized that there's no point for him to try anymore for that, as
Probably not.
there's way too many people to contest. Yeah, I think Huya is also going Mech infiltrators.
That's so funny. I love it because like nobody would contest delicious milk, and now everybody's doing it. It's great.
Yep.
So Solus with a very strong Jace running into Saihan here. Oh my gosh, the damage on that Jace.
Just watching that Jace is disgusting. Just so much damage.
And if you're Saihan right now too, this feels so bad because you know that red buff would be doing so much better on the Lucian, but you can't get it on him yet because you don't have another cybernetics to replace the Leona with.
Yep. That's super unfortunate for him. Also, every time you think you're winning the fight, you just see a Jace slam down.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I guess
So
not.
I would imagine he's going to swap it now. I mean, why would you keep the red buff on Leona like that when you could move it to the... I mean, it's stats, yeah, but still. I guess he doesn't have blasters, so he wouldn't be getting the spread from
yeah,
Lucian.
so there's really no point in that sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still pretty surprised that he's not swapping that.
Milk also setting up for Mech.
Naturally.
Already has the demo spec.
Oh, dude, he's in way better shape. He's got the bramble vest. He's got the demo spat. He's got everything he needs. He's already winning rounds.
Yeah, you got the demo spat TF, dude.
Yep, that's a brawler start.
Demo spat TF, ready to throw cards and stun people.
Yep. Kind
Maybe
of
that's one way to make
from
that
the
one
main
from
game.
better. Get a demo spat to the TF.
So, what is Saihan gonna take here? Looks like he wants a sword. I believe he can make a GA. Can he make a GA? No,
He can make a
bloodthirster.
He's probably just going to use the sword for later.
Yeah. So that's also, I mean, the other thing to think about is that if he wants to play cybernetics, that is a Aurelia with a sword, which is extremely good if you're playing cybernetics or Brawl Blasters, I suppose. But yeah, that's just probably a unit you want, right?
For
Oh yeah, don't make the Leona too. I was gonna say. There we go.
He's getting there with he definitely wants to sell that Lucian.
Yeah, you want to put the items on the Aurelia now. I want to find a Lucian to carry the red buff later on, but at this point, red buff on Fiora, right, to just carry that stuff. So
yeah,
I think
now the question is, he's probably gonna swap it later too and just replace the Fiora.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was gonna say. Is now the next step is getting another Fiora, so you can move the get a double IE on Aurelia.
Yeah.
But he's coming
online.
online.
One thing you've noticed a lot is the Chinese players are much less greedy than the North American players. The North American players will leave items on their bench for a very, very long time. And will also just avoid like what Saihan's doing right now. You would never see a North American player do these kind of things where they just buy and sell, and it's just like a one cost to try to for something like a red buff.
Okay. I think with cybernetics, you're a little bit more likely to do that because you're kind of reliant on moving the items from champion to champion. So this composition specifically really incentivizes you to do that thing, sell stuff, rebuild it a lot more frequently than a lot of other comps would do. But he's in pretty good shape right now, finding the second
Definitely agree.
Aurelia already too. Wow.
He could just make the 2-star Aurelia, but
Yeah, better
because
to.
I think for 4 costs, it's generally worth it to just use your Nico as soon as you can if you plan on doing that. Just generally because if you can get your 2-star 4 cost early, it can carry you for a streak very, very quickly, which normally you would not be able to.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well at the moment. The red buff on Fiora certainly helps quite a bit. And because he has Mana Reaver with the Cassidon, he's suddenly on a much more even footing. So I think the nice thing for Sion is that, or for Sion rather, is that he's actually found himself some breathing room where he can save the Nikos, hit an Aurelia 2 naturally, and then maybe get an Echo 2 down the road if he's really lucky. So with
Yeah,
60
it definitely
HP, you're
allows more
feeling,
time to be
yeah,
greedy.
I think with 60 HP and the board he's got, he's feeling pretty confident for a little while anyway. I think if things get dire, then yeah, at least the Nikos is there, but we'll see if he can hit the Aurelia before having to use it.
Well, he's got another IE now, so
Oh wow, that is huge. That's extremely nice because
really
that means the
strong.
glove can become a QSS at some point for that Aurelia. Or
Yeah,
if he finds another Vi, honestly, like he could make the QSS sooner than that.
he's considering moving the item now, but he needs to wait till he gets another place to put it, more or less, like another once
You
he
need
gets to
another
level.
Vi. There you go. Hitting the Aurelia naturally. So now the Nico can be saved for the Echo that he will hopefully hit. Every Cybernetics player, though, man, whenever I play this comp, it's like the game of finding the Echo is the most stressful thing in TFT.
Watching that Aurelia is so satisfying. You finally get to watch it just one shot everything.
Yep, pretty much. Double IE. So there was a. Do you remember when this comp was first coming up and people were talking about Aurelias? There was a lot of debate over Death Cap versus Infinity Edge, and it seems like in the end, oh wow,
Wow,
he finds the
found
Echo.
the Echo so early.
That is amazing.
You have a 1% chance, and to add on the fact that you have so many 5 costs in the game right now.
Wow, that is called destiny. I'm not. I'm a little bit surprised he's rolling right now, though. I guess he just wants to find a couple more
He's
two
trying to finish
costs.
off his
But
two stars for the lower
yeah,
cost units
wants to probably
because he
move
wants
the
to sell
buy
up
items
more
over too.
items.
Yeah, red buff on the Echo is
That's
really
not
good.
bad either.
Yep. Well, Echo will ideally apply to everybody. More
Huya is
effectively
just
than Lucian.
in trouble right now. He has not hit anything.
Yeah.
He's out of
Echo.
money. He just hasn't he hasn't hit that fizz. And so if there's a fizz on the next carousel, he's going straight for it, regardless of items.
Oh, if he's live by the next carousel,
He'll be
he'll
alive.
probably he'll have
He'll
like
be very low, but he'll
he
be
might be
alive.
sub 10. Yeah. It'll be rough. Oh, so he makes a Vi too before taking the cloak off. Interesting. All
Yeah.
right, because you're kind of looking for a defensive item for Aurelia. I mean, it is nice to have the stats on Vi though at 6 cybernetics, so I guess I'm not opposed to that. Well, let's check out
Here we
let's
go.
check out what Soju's doing.
He's setting up for some good Space Jam action.
Yep, Protector again. I'm really starting to think that Protector Darius is the way to go to really have the most ideal Space Jam comp. What do you think?
Yeah, because Protector Darius just stays alive, and that's like that's super important for him. It
Yeah.
also it got one shot.
Except for the Jin 2. Yeah.
Yeah, except for the Jin 2. It tends to one shot. But
Jin 2 is pretty good.
Kerm is actually going. Is that Dark Stars? I wasn't
Uh,
paying too much attention because I was watching the slam, but I see a lot of Dark Star units.
it does
Nope,
look like Dark.
Vanguard snipers. Vanguard snipers.
Is it? Oh, okay. So he is buying some Dark Stars at least.
Yes.
6 Dark Stars, again, definitely less incentive to go that than before. Other than just more Dark Stars dying equals more buffs for Jin in the end. But it's very reliant now on finding a Xerath, which is, you're kind of in the same position that you're in when you're playing Cybernetics, where you're looking for the Echo. If you don't find it, it's going to be tough to like top 4 or even like, well, probably top 2. But I think Dark Stars is still a solid comp and generally a top 4 comp if it's played well, and if you don't get totally like hosed as far as like luck goes. But it's definitely weaker than it was.
Yeah, it definitely is weaker. But still, Xerath is still a really, really strong unit if you go Dark Stars. So
If you can find him, yeah.
yeah, I think it still brings potential for that. Soju is probably he's looking here for that Shojin, I guess.
Yep, Giant Slayer doesn't generally do a whole lot for you with this comp.
Yeah, he's trying to take advantage of the mana boost.
Yeah, pretty ideal. There we
Yeah,
go.
there's mana boost.
Yep, gets you out right away. Just a lonesome rumble for Huya. No mech.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
unfortunate. Him not ever finding a fizz is just terrible.
That is really disappointing.
That's why I mentioned earlier, if I see a fizz on the carousel and I'm playing mechs, I might just take the fizz.
Well, it looks like you didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah,
Looks like you
unfortunately.
might just be dead.
Yeah, there's the fizz.
Yeah. I would actually hold that. I would pick it up and ping it.
So much BM.
So the mind games, you got to win through the mind games too.
Yeah, get in their head.
Yeah, man.
Those are some really good items for casting though with the Thieves Gloves. Pretty
Yeah.
decent roll.
For sure.
Yeah,
Who's he
Milk and Huya holding hands going 7th and 8th.
Yeah, really. Finally, someone willing to hold hands with delicious milk. All right, the dunks are about to commence, and the GA presents.
GA stopped the dunk rotation, and then
Yeah.
nope, it's back.
Oh, only for the moment. Yep. Yeah, this comp is so good.
Yeah, you notice Godlike initially was running kind of a variant of Mech infiltrators, and I think he just only went infiltrators and shifted out of there. But it's not really doing well since the infiltrators are all getting contested as well.
Yep. Getting close to the Xinjiao 3. Really close. And then the economy is so good right now for Soju as well. This is looking like a top 1 maybe.
Yeah, if he can close out and hit those 3 stars, he is very, very well on his way to getting at least maybe a win, but at least top 4 for sure.
Well, he's definitely got the pieces, right? Where he's got 4 protectors, which is something you don't always get to have.
Well, those are some really unfortunate items though for him.
Yeah.
Can't really do anything with those.
At least Rakan doesn't lose his ult if you have a RFC on him anymore. But maybe you just put that on the Ash. I don't know, because you got to use the items now.
I would
you're not
probably
gonna
just
find.
put that on the Ash.
Yeah, you're not going to find any more.
You either put on the Ash or like a Shinzao or something.
Right.
I'm surprised he's not been picking up any Ashes since he's missed like 6.
She's just not a big priority. She's just there to give you.
Definitely not a priority. It's just been. You've seen so many. You wonder why. If I just picked these up, I would have just had a 3-star Ash.
Yeah, but then you kind of think about like, what would 3-star Ash really get you? And the answer is probably not as much as rolling down and spending the gold on more 3 stars of the 2 costs.
Yeah, the other 2 costs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like the Rakan and the Xinjiao.
Hold on to them at least.
So really hunting for those. 1 away from each. There's the
Xinjiao. You got the Shinzao.
Is he gonna find the Rakan? I'd roll for it, man. You're 1 away. Just roll.
I'm surprised he's not like holding 2 costs and rolling. He's just rolling.
Yeah, he was doing a little bit.
Just minor min-maxing,
Yeah. It depends on time a lot too. Like, do you have time?
If you do have the time, you would do it. If you don't have the time,
right.
So
Because yeah, I would
organizing
love.
your bench for that is usually the best way to do it. To have like everything come
Oh,
on the left or everything come on the right. So it's
look at
easier to sell.
this. Shendu is running the Star Guardians comp, the new Sona mana battery. Brave.
Yep.
All
He's
right.
printing mana.
He's doing okay with it. And this is
It's
one of the
doing really
comps
well.
that,
It's the mana's getting printed very well. Soraka's getting her ults off constantly.
well, this is one of the comps that can beat the Space Jam because it becomes very
You
difficult.
out-sustain it. You basically out-sustain it.
Sure, there's the sustain, and then there's also a good amount of crowd control as well that just breaks
Yeah.
the
Breaks the
crowd control
chain.
chains coming in from the other side.
For sure.
Yeah, hitting a lot of good 3 stars right now. Although the main one is the Darius. Like looking
Yeah, if
forward to
Soju
hitting.
can get I think if Soju can get a Morello's on the Rakan, he will be in a very good spot.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was traditionally the item you'd want to get on Rakan. A little bit less valuable now that he doesn't hit as many targets, but still a good item for sure. I like the RFC on the Rakan, which enables him to jump onto the back lines. But look at Karamex actually doing pretty well with the Dark
Yeah,
Stars. That
Soju's
is a
gonna take a lot of
stacked
damage
jam.
here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna die. He's gonna take a lot. Okay, he's at 3 HP.
So I think crucially here, Soju not hitting the Darius 3 really hurt him a lot.
Yeah,
And
he definitely really needs a Darius 3 to even have a chance.
yeah, and it's unlikely he's going to get it this game now. He'll have to hit it in his next round, basically.
I wonder if Milk is going to be able to come back with 6 HP since now there's no other mech player, so he can actually roll to his content.
Yeah, it really depends on his economy, you know?
Yeah, I remember he was saving his economy for the for Huya to die, but I don't know if he was able to save it long enough.
Hard to say. Let's see. I mean, because he's not on a winning streak, so it's not the comeback has not begun just yet, I suppose. Bramblevest and a Jin Zhao is going to be pretty strong as far as survivability. He's trying to find another space pirate. That's the other thing that Soju is missing is that he's been re-rolling a lot, but it's been preventing him from getting up to level 7. And
Yeah, and then the level 7 would give him the space pirate for more gold, and
exactly, yeah.
just due to the struggle of not hitting the Darius.
You know, a lot of times you don't even worry about putting that third protector in. So Nico is basically occupying the spot that the space pirate normally would. So it's hard
just
to
because of the 4 protector.
Right, but I'm saying it's hard
Yeah.
to really gauge the damage to the economy that not having Space Pirate in for the whole time did, but it does make you kind of think as he goes out in 7th, if maybe it's not, maybe if it's better to add the 4 protectors at level 7 and then make sure you have the Space Pirate gold for the majority of the mid game. I think that's probably a safer way to make that transition, even if you get the protector plate early.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Kurum actually pushed to 9 already.
Yeah. Wow.
He still has 20 gold, so it's pretty
Dark Stars
on that side. But the mana printing is actually crazy. Shindu with the 3 chalices and a
I
bunch of
refuse to believe this is gonna work. Like
that's like how many tiers is that? 6 tiers?
that is
Yeah, 6 tiers.
yeah, that's 6 of them. Wow. How in the world do you get 6 tiers? He's 1 away from a Nico 3 as well. If and now that Soju is dead, he's got a chance to actually find it.
Yeah. Oh, Milk with his mech. This is probably the worst matchup he could get.
Yeah, the stun is going to be pretty good from the Kaisa, and if the mech gets in there, it's going to
Mech got
ult
in there
everybody.
though, so
Yep.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, and so this is why I'm not like super hyped up on this composition because
they just stayed alive for a very long time. I think.
oh wow, this actually beats
I actually don't know who wins this.
I think Annie should win this, or not Annie. Sona's gonna win this.
Nope.
Sona's gonna win.
Sona wins. Sona wins.
Yeah, I meant to say Sona, but
wait,
but I'm wrong. Wow, I've
Milk.
never seen that fight before.
Milk survives for another round. He gets to get some gold.
Weird. Okay.
And some items.
Wow. All right. So, and that's that's another reason why I'm not super fond of this comp is because it just kind of lacks in terms of burst damage. The game is TFT is very reliant on burst damage in set 3, and
Yeah,
this comp with a nerfed Syndra doesn't really have that. So, I mean, RE3 does damage, but not enough. So I don't know. I know a lot of people are trying this comp out, but I'm not convinced it's like even an A
the
tier comp,
best. Yeah.
despite Shendu being
I
on
think
top.
there's very clear weaknesses to the comp, and that's just having because the damage is very slow. It's just out sustaining the other comp and CCing them till they die.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Oh,
The funny
that's
thing is that it
level 3
lacks.
Sona.
That's big. The funny thing is that it lacks a lot of the CC
Oh, you found the
that the
Syndra.
old comp has. That's a big upgrade. That's a big
Yeah,
upgrade.
that's a big
Okay,
upgrade.
now we're on board. Yeah. All right. So now he's got a chance to win this lobby. Those are some
Yeah,
huge upgrades he just hit.
Sundu is now just back into eco and then saving up to get to 8
Yeah.
for potentially another Sork.
What's interesting though is that he's doing this with 3 sorcerers. So his
Yeah.
damage is, a lot lower than it would normally be with this comp, but 3 stars make a lot of that not matter.
Yeah, normally a lot of the time people would it's because of the fact that you have to add a Sona in here.
Hmm. Right, so you don't get the 4 Sork until level 8.
Yeah.
Um, this does also let you reroll at 6, which keeps you a little bit stronger in the mid game. I've been thinking about this comp a lot because I'm a big Star Guardians player, at least I was anyway.
Yeah. Everyone's also about to die. I think two, maybe 3 people will go down in this round.
Yeah.
Godlike actually going out in the last round.
I think it looks like Shendu's going to win this one. This is the
Yeah,
big comp that's going to give him
he
trouble
just
right here.
had huge upgrades, and he's way ahead of everyone else in terms of health.
Yeah, if anything beats Shendu, it'll be this comp. But that is dependent on the Aurelia living, which it didn't. No defensive items on the Aurelia.
Yeah, Aurelio CC down. Solus goes down. Milk is still alive. Kerm going down. So now we have Saihan, Milk, and Shendu left. If he can get this Lulu, I don't even think he needs to do anything. Like, I'm pretty sure after this, very likely after this round, the game will be over. I don't think Milk's comp can beat the upgraded version of Shendu's comp.
I agree. Yep. The only way he could really get stronger at this point is level 8 and another sorcerer. And he probably doesn't need it. So here is Seihan.
Yeah, they got CC'd and destroyed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you
Wait,
would need.
Aurelia's alive.
Okay, yeah, if Aurelia lives, then
Aurelia carried it.
Yeah, okay.
Aurelia managed to not get focused at all, and Milk will go down.
Right, so Delicious Milk all out. And so the real question now is, can Saihan connect with the Aurelia and not get the Aurelia killed each time? It's all about
gonna
positioning,
come down
really.
mostly to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was Shendu right there, I might have gotten the Celestial and then just I would have. I mean, I would have picked up the Lulu earlier and gotten the Celestial. But
Well, I think with the healing from the Sona and the Soraka, a Celestial is a little bit less appealing because you're going to have so much healing anyway. Now, though, with the
true,
Jewel Gauntlet
I'd
on
agree.
Syndra,
You
that's going to
did
be.
focus on the Syndra damage, just so that you can burst down the Aurelia before it kills the rest of your team.
Yeah, you definitely need to be focused on the Syndra damage with this. And getting 4 sorcerers in just boosts everybody's damage, right? Because Nico is also one of the primary damage dealers in this composition. So has Saihan found the positioning to keep his Aurelia safe? That's the question. Started her off on the side, which is smart because it keeps her out of the Nico ultimate. Now she's into the back lines, and you got a chance here. Red buff on Echo is also
And
really
it goes
big.
down. He goes down, but we still have our Echo.
Yep, that's right. So I love it. He positioned really, really well, actually. So what he was able to do is keep Aurelia out of the initial Nico ultimate, and then Aurelia got into the back lines and started one-shotting people. And then you had Echo live long enough to apply the red buff to the whole team and shut down a lot of what Sona and Soraka were doing. So if he can recreate that scenario, he can win this lobby.
Whereas I think what Sendo needs to do is position in a way where Aurelia has to run into Nico.
Yeah, you would
And
corner stack in this case. He
you,
should move
yeah, you would
everyone to
have
farm.
to start moving your units closer to a corner or somehow in a way where you would be able to CC.
Right. So Aurelia swapped again. Up, gonna get hit by the Nico ultimate though. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
If Aurelia goes down, Aurelia's still alive. Goes down now, but I think Saihan will end up going down here.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. So end of the road, Shendu actually wins it with the new Star Guardians build that people are trying in the new patch. And it's very it can be very strong, I guess. All right. Now the only thing is that old Star Guardians you could force every game. This Star Guardians he needed 6 tiers to really make that work, and he needed a bunch of 3 stars. So if you're like me and you've been playing a lot of Star Guardians, this seems like a viable way to go if you have a start with like a lot of tiers, I would say. And then
Yeah,
you're
I'd
ready
say
to
it's
reroll down at 6.
super reliant on tiers, and if you're getting contested, I'm pretty sure that comp just is terrible.
Yeah.
It's very very like heavy on having only one person go it,
Hmm.
much like how it is for the Mech comps.
Yep, I would agree. So Shendu, number 1 after 2 games, getting a third and a first, playing really, really well. Delicious Milk, close behind at 13, but this is a tighter sort of middle of the pack than we saw in set 1.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people are, very hit or miss in this point right now. You have Huya who went first and last in both games. First, he in the first place game obviously went Space Jam, heavy reroll comp. Second game was a mech comp where he almost just didn't hit anything, and
Yep.
so obviously he was contested by Milk, and Milk ended up coming up on top there. Godlike was looking at an infiltrator comp, I think, and eventually switched away. But yeah, you have Kurum, Solus, and Soju down here just not really hitting what they need to be hitting.
Yeah, I feel bad for Soju because I feel like he's had good directions in both of the games so far, but he's just been missing a few little crucial pieces, and maybe some of the ordering needs a little bit of reevaluation. Like the last game, for instance, opting for the 4 protectors early rather than sticking with Space Pirate to boost the gold production throughout the mid game. I think that's the kind of thing you have to think about when you have a really strong looking comp that doesn't end up working out, and you're like, why did that happen?
Yeah,
I
you
think that's the
really
kind
need to figure out like when you have your economy that you need to focus on, and then when you need to switch and you're strong enough that you can win with space pirates compared to having to have the 4 protector.
Yeah, you
Because
don't
more
need
or
4
less,
protectors that early. Yeah.
yeah, it was a little bit too early to go into 4 protectors, and I think if he'd stuck with space pirates a bit longer, he might have been able to make the gold to hit that Darius 3 that he really really needed. But
Mhm.
hindsight's 2020, so it's hard to say either way if he made the right choice.
Well, we can always go back and watch it later, which I may do tomorrow morning. But for now, we're taking a break, and when we come back, the final 2 games of the night, guys, here at the Starside Invitational. Don't go anywhere. We'll return right after this. We're back at the Starside Invitational, DoA and Yuuj with you. 6 games out of 8 completed, and so that means we are in the bottom half now of our last lobby, our last set rather, of the evening, and it's been exciting. We even saw new Star Guardians win a lobby, which that is actually the first time I've seen that comp win a lobby so far, but it seemed pretty high roll, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of Sona mana printing is a fairly fun concept. It's not very common, and before tiers were highly contested, so the new Star Guardians comp is very one-sided. But let's take a look at the standings. We do have Shendu at the top, and NA is really going to have to step it up here if they're going to compete with China in these next few games.
Yeah, Carm Solus and Soju all down at the bottom of the pack. Just the Mech extraordinaire, delicious milk. Second place, managing to find a third and a fourth. So we'll see what he can do going forward here because he has been contested, but he's just so good at the comp as well that it's hard to contest him. Even if you do get a head start, he just knows how to eke out every little advantage. He's the one that's going to have like the tiny little positioning knowledge to win around that someone else who might not have played as many games of Mech Infiltrator as he has will maybe lose.
Yeah, he doesn't really pivot, but he will change his play style a little based on your situation in terms of how many mechs you're trying to take from him.
Sure. So I'm really curious to see too if we're going to have any special galaxies for the next couple as well. We had the trade sector for game number 1 of this set. It was normal last game, so now the question is, what haven't we seen yet tonight? We've seen trade sector a couple times. I feel like we saw.
We have yet to see the lilac one.
We don't need to see that one. We can skip that.
Yeah, we have seen treasure trove.
Nicoverse. I don't think we've seen Nicoverse yet tonight.
There's so many galaxies. We unfortunately got a normal galaxy, so no entertainment there.
Unfortunately, I don't know. That's I'm okay with it. I like the new galaxy. It's fun to see the game.
Also special in its own way now.
It's fun to see the game get played straight up sometimes too. Yeah. All right. So, did anyone grab a chain vest? I was trying to see. I don't know if anyone was.
Shendu came out with a chain vest actually.
So Shendu on board with the player that won the last lobby, the Star Guardians, picks one up at the beginning of this time, or this game rather, has the belt for Poppy. And what's he gonna do? I think the build I want to. Yep, I think the build I want to try out the most out of all the new stuff is the Candyland build, the 1-star,
the high reroll.
Yeah, the problem is
straight up builds that Poppy 2. Doesn't even consider it.
Oh yeah, I mean Poppy 2 is just good
even with just a a Giant's belt. It's like perfect item, whatever. It's a tank item. Poppy's a tank.
Right, exactly. You can always build like a Caesar out portal on that later, or you can just sell the Poppy and move the belt to somebody else. If you end up wanting to play blasters or something. But yeah, just too strong to ignore early on.
Yeah, Shendu's got a really good start for a reroll comp at this point, just based on what he's been able to pick up already.
Right.
Definitely so hoping for gold, I think. Yeah, he's definitely hoping for gold.
Yeah, a little bit. Would have been nice to pick up the Zoe as well, but I'm sure he'll see a lot more of them. There's a TF2.
Wow,
nice.
He finds a TF.
That is not a bad start. So he can pick up that in the Caitlyn and have a little bit of a Chrono synergy if he wants.
I think he's probably going to wait and see if he can get any gold to pick up the Ahri instead. If not, he'll pick up the Caitlyn.
Yeah, possibly.
Since Sork is pretty useful if you manage to get a TF that early.
Yep, that is true.
Also, noticed a lot of people have poppies. Everyone wants the poppy.
Oh yeah, well I mean there's like a million of them too, so. Yeah, there we go. Now he has enough for everything.
It picks up everything but the Ahri. Okay.
Yep, the 2 Sork bonus is okay early on. Chrono seems to be a little bit stronger in a vacuum, just because now you get that first tick from Chrono right away rather than having to wait for 4 seconds.
Yeah, especially early game. Late game, I think Chrono is not as useful. definitely is useful early on.
Ah, so he picks up the Darius as well. So he's thinking a little bit about Space Jam actually with the Kassadin, with the Darius. The Morel Namicon is obviously very good on Rakan or Jace. So he's finding items that might enable that. Thieves Gloves already on the Darius on the other side, though. Karmek's wasting no
It's just
time.
a temporary Darius for sure on the other side if you put Thieves Gloves.
Yeah, maybe.
Kurum is definitely just, eventually just using it for gold and eventually going to switch off.
That's definitely possible. Thieves Gloves are pretty useful throughout the game, no matter what you play. Finds the Leona. And right now it seems like Leona, TF, Zoe, and maybe Caitlyn are just champions that you buy. They're so useful in a lot of different situations. That why wouldn't you? I like protecting the Caitlyn there with the Leona. Nice little touch that newer players often ignore. Why give your Caitlyn the opportunity to be grabbed by Blitzcrank? Just put one of your tanks there, especially when you have another 2-star up front. You're not losing
Yeah,
anything
definitely,
defensively.
especially with infiltrators as well. It's like, hey, they come to the back line, let's meet the tank.
Right. Indeed. So Chrono early looks like it's going to be Sork on the other side with the Ionic Spark. And yeah, just cleaves his way right through them. Picks up a couple more one costs, because why not?
Vanguard showing its strength right here. Vanguard and Chrono just very early, very strong early game two synergies.
I really love how Shendu is playing this because he's got himself open to like 3 different compositions right now. He also has a nice Mech infiltrator start actually with the Umbrella Namicon and the 2 infiltrators on his bench. So just really, he's deciding between Space Jam and Mech Infiltrator.
Yeah.
Maybe
Meanwhile,
picking
just
stock
kind
on
of holding
Kassadin.
on whatever you have on the board, see what
Yeah.
you can do. I think he's probably planning on selling that Kassadin.
Yep, he's got it set aside for the gold. You don't necessarily need the Kassadin this early, even if you are thinking of going Space Jam, so I think that's fine. Kassadin is one of those like Celestial Mana Reavers that you add in a little bit later
Yeah,
sometimes.
he
Yep.
just straight up sold the Kassadin. It's always interesting to see how people sort their benches because some people sort they sort the stuff on the right or the left, however they want to sell their units.
Mm-hmm.
I
How do you
personally
sort it?
like to put all the units I want to keep on the left, and then all the units I want to sell on the right. I don't know about you.
Oh, I'm the opposite, man. I put the sell ones on the left.
Yeah, it's just convenience. It's
Yeah.
keeping your bench organized helps you when you need to really roll down fast.
Yeah, for sure. So Delicious Milk picks up the cloak. So I wonder if he's got a gloves to make a QSS out of with that.
Very likely.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, at this point, when people don't pick, they usually just don't know what they want and they don't really care either.
Let's check out what Karam is doing right now. He has Brawler. Well, he's got a blaster start. Yep, not bad.
Got his
Vanguard
Vanguard
blast.
blasters.
Yeah.
Gonna maybe try to get some more.
I love keeping Space Pirate in as long as possible. It's just that extra gold adds up so much. And now where Darius is so common in the early game, it's almost like if you're not running Space Pirate, you're gonna fall behind in gold. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, everyone runs Space Pirate just because of the ability to get some money, even if you lose.
Right. And the only requirements really to do that is having one of them be 2 stars, or a situation like this where you've got Thieves Gloves on Darius and you get that little bit of an item advantage that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Darius almost, if he did a little bit more damage, would have carried that entire fight.
Yep, it was very close.
Yeah.
Either one of those Space Pirates are 2 stars, and he's still got gold anyway, so worked out okay.
Yeah.
But do you want to go below 40?
But Kurum's eco is actually fairly good right now. He'll be 50 gold after Krugs, and so depending on or I think they're still called Krugs here. Yeah, they're still Krugs. He'd be fairly well off.
They're actually
Already 40
Terra
gold.
Bursters now.
Oh, Terror Bursters. I'm
gotta
still
name
calling them Krugs.
Well, I had
they
a talk
always
with
change their names, but they're like, you know.
Well, Froden and I talked about this a lot. It's like if you're talking with your friends about TFT, then we use Krugs because everyone knows them as Krugs. But when I'm casting, I always try to say the proper name just in case. You know, it doesn't matter too much.
That's true. That's true. It's definitely better to say the proper name.
It's the debate though. Are they still Krugs? To many, they are. People have Krugs in their heart still.
Yeah, I mean, what's more memorable than losing to Krugs, right?
Yep, exactly. Losing to Terror Bursters. Finds a way to pick up the Blitzcrank and stay above 40, which is nice. As you mentioned, hitting that 50 gold threshold, looks like. And I would say Thieves' Gloves can go on to Graves here. We'll see what he wants to put it on, though.
He definitely needs to put on something. I don't know if he can guarantee win this if he does.
Oh, okay. Poppy. Yeah, 4-1 costs. That is brave against the Terror Bursters. Looks like he'll be okay, but
I think he'll be fine, especially with the Vanguard buffs. Units will live a little bit longer than normal. So
I always get so worried though. I've died to Terror Bursters way too many times, only having 4 units.
yeah, when you try to play the risk,
I've kept burnt
it's
too many
kind of
times.
like I know you can beat it with 4 units if you have Cybernetics and they actually have items and they're only 1 cost. It's fine, but some combinations are just too weak.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of nice. Finds a Poppy too. Oh yeah, there's Cybernetics. Yep. I think Chain Vest is way better. You got to keep yourself open to the red buff for Lucian.
Yeah, and then everyone puts Rod on Vi for the Ionic most of the time. Is what ends up on her
It's more
if you ever have the time.
Yeah. All right. So facing off against Saihan, who has a pretty beefy TF, but that Twisted Fate is holding Jin items. So we'll see what it ends up being.
Yeah, he's Distant Fate is just, there because we have a 2-star.
Sure, he's just an item holding extraordinaire. I'm not sure if I didn't see if he had the chrono buff or not. I don't think he does.
They do. They have the little circle going around them, so it's partially chrono
Oh yeah,
buff.
you're right. Yep. Okay. So let's see. Oh, nice.
I'm
There's
actually
Lucian,
managing
too.
to get his 2-star Lucian. That's big for him.
That is, yeah. Another locket on the Poppy too. So gonna be able to power things up a little bit. And Lucian should be fairly safe there. Let's jump over with Godlike and Godlike Scouting. Seeing what else is being played by everybody right now.
Everyone pushing to level 6 now.
Yep. A lot of Vanguard Chrono. That's generally, I would say, considered as probably the strongest early synergy combination. Tankiness and attack speed.
Yeah, it seems like Godlike is trying to move towards a Brawler Blaster build with Aurelia. He's already found 2 Aurelias too, so that's huge.
Yeah, that'll be useful just to play at some point in the near future, probably. Yeah, you can see players starting to settle into some sort of standards for different builds.
He's gotten his Jinx.
He could go 4
really
blasters
hitting
right
these
now.
units.
So I'm a little bit surprised that he's rolling down right now. All right. Well, there's a Malphite and
I think the reasoning behind it was to try to hit that Malphite too, because if you hold it any longer, you're never going to get it that easily.
It's going to be more difficult for sure. He really he didn't get 4 brawlers in there though.
He has Cybernetics instead.
Yeah.
Which he's actually getting really good value off the Aurelia dashes. Giving her the Seraphs.
Yep, for sure. But let's see. At 96 HP, though, I still got to say I'm a little bit surprised he would roll down there because he had HP to burn, and being able to get up to 50 gold where he didn't have like a long win streak to preserve. Yeah, I don't know, because yes, he got stronger, but did he really need to? And I think that's a question that a lot of players should ask themselves when they feel like rolling down. Am I
Yeah,
getting
definitely.
a small bit stronger now, but sacrificing my economy for later when I really need it? And I kind of wonder if that's what Godlike did. So obviously, Blasters is very strong. This gets him out a little bit ahead of everybody else, but I'm curious to track him and see if it comes back to haunt him later.
Yeah, most of the Chinese players tend to play a lot more aggressive instead of greeting, and so they will do things like roll down to make sure that I have a solid and a stronger comp in case someone else hits it,
Hmm.
and so that's why they try to roll as early as possible. I think a lot of Chinese players tend to stay around 30 gold until like later on in the game.
Interesting.
They try to stick 20, 30 gold as much as possible, and so they're constantly leveling up, constantly rolling, and just they because if you have no gold, then it's bad. If you have too much gold, you're also not playing your strongest board that you could.
Yeah, that's very true.
Especially, I think Godlike is trying to make sure he keeps his win streak.
Hmm. I think the philosophy in NA has been to reach 50 and then spend the difference, because that lets you be able to react by leveling up to levels 8 and 9 quicker if need be. And
Yeah,
a lot of people have learned that spending your life as a resource is really useful too, in that it's okay to even go down to 50, 40 HP in the mid game in exchange for the strongest late game. So that's interesting to
yeah.
see the sort of philosophical differences, if that's what the Chinese players are doing.
It's
That's
more
kind
of
of cool.
a if you spend less, like you play more aggressive, it's more likely to top four rather than win the game.
Right. That's very true. Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's what I think a lot of these players are focusing on is, we're going for top four. If we get the right comp, we can win the game, but we're going to focus on top four in here.
And over the course of a series of lobbies, consistency is the thing that's rewarded the most, being top four
Yes,
consistently,
exactly.
not winning
Exactly.
consistently. So, yeah. Or top fouring is basically winning. So, wow, that was a big Cho'Gath ultimate. Godlike certainly having no trouble at all getting this win streak going.
Yeah, he's running a pretty solid comp right now.
Yeah. And was that Delicious Milk not playing Mech Infiltrator? Did I
Yeah,
see that
I
right?
did not see that coming.
I feel like I have to go back and double check that on his stream.
Definitely saw someone playing Dep Mac Infiltrator though.
Yeah, he is not running Mech Infiltrator. He's straight up going Darkstar.
Wow.
Interesting. Wow, cool. All right. And I mean, that's not super surprising. He kind of made it pretty clear that after Giant Slayer series, he'd probably start to play a little bit more normally. And where Mech Infiltrator has been so contested tonight, no surprise to start seeing him playing a little bit more variety.
Yeah, if people are going to contest you, if people aren't going to contest you, then why not, right?
Yeah, because he, as we jump on with Delicious Milk to see what he's up to, because on the ladder, if you track some of his ladder accounts, he doesn't spam Mech. He plays a lot of Darkstar lately, and in the past has been just very good at playing pretty much everything.
Yeah, no, he has pretty good items on for Jin already on his Caitlyn right now. He's just
Yeah.
missing IE, but more or less, yeah, I'd be surprised to actually finally see a Dark Star comp and see how well it performs.
Yep. Well, taking a loss there, but he's still in the process of building. Once he finds Jin, things will change a little bit. But Darkstar, 6 Darkstars, it definitely doesn't feel as strong as it did before the patch, though. So I do wonder how well it's going to work.
Yeah, I think with the way it is right now, Dark Stars has a really, really strong late game, but Xerath is key to the whole comp, more or less, especially with after all these nerfs. Like you need that Xerath too to really be successful.
Right. Or at least a Xerath one with good items.
Yeah.
Right. There's The adaptation has generally been adding in Celestial to try to power up your Dark Stars and get Jin to basically like heal up to full every time he gets his fourth shot. And you do see people running a lot of 2 Jin comps in the late game with Dark Stars still. And
Yeah, I
that's
think a
still
lot of it
solid.
is when you get to late game, you double Jin.
Yeah, if you don't find the Xerath, yeah. Yep. So let's see. 4 Dark Stars at the moment, getting a little bit of buffing on the Caitlyn anyway. Well, not the Caitlyn, but I think he's going to need a little bit more than this, though. Yeah, there's a Jin with items on the other side. So Saihan already finding what Delicious Milk is looking for. So he runs right out of one contested comp into another one. But Dark Stars is definitely a better comp to be contested on because you only really need 2 stars of everything to succeed. So
Yeah, the
there
3
is
stars are
enough room
nice
for
to
people to do it.
have. 3 stars are nice to have, but you really only need the 2 stars.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's also pretty rough. Wow, milk leveling to 8. He's
Yeah.
like, should I? He's definitely considering rolling and trying to find this Jin right now.
Let's see. I think you might as well try. He's got a
He's
25%
considering
chance.
it, but he's probably not going to.
You just can't go below 20. It's just a little bit too dangerous, you know?
Yeah, having listened to Solus actually talk about Darkstar comps before, you should never, like, at least from what I remember, it says you shouldn't put in 6 Darkstars before level 8 because you need your 2 Celestial.
Well,
Otherwise, it's just not that strong.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it. And if you force 6 of it, you're going to end up probably forcing in a lot of 1 stars. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, Delicious Milk definitely knows what he's doing in Dark Stars as well. And he's unfortunately just not finding the Jin.
Yeah, maybe he's hoping for a off carousel or just in general.
I think he's hoping for it from anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
That's really rough.
Well, he does get the item he needs.
What is that little legend that Soju has? I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Come back to the carousel, Delicious Milk. There's like a bug or something.
I know they recently came out with new maps, and those were actually really cool.
Yeah. Let's see. So Shendu, our winner of the last map with Star Guardians, is playing. Is he playing Mech this game? He is. Ooh.
Oh,
Mech
and
infiltrator.
he's managing to stay in first place while playing Mech. That's not common at all.
Yeah, I wonder what the items are. You'd have to assume he has something pretty good on Kaisa, either the Morellos or the demo spat.
Kurum's actually on a
Not
streak
demo.
right now, so that's good for him as well. It's pretty interesting. He's got his Kale.
Yep. Oh, good. He can swap out the
That tier
Kazakhstan
off.
up with the tier onto Kaisa. That's a huge advantage. So his mech items are not good though. So I feel like this is right on the verge of falling off. I guess you can make a GA, but
Yeah, I think he probably he probably wants a GA. Yep, there's the GA, and then he's gonna hold the items to see whatever he gets for the PvE round.
now Delicious Milk did find the
Did find the
Sarah.
Jin.
Doing a lot of damage.
And Zareth, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He found the Jin too. Yeah. Or Jin also is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he rolled out all his gold for it too.
I guess you have to at that point. It was either that or just lose. So yeah,
That's
shake
really
too.
good for him. If he can find one more Jin, one more Zareth, he can just Nico it, and it will help him a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Zareth too is a win condition a lot of times. So what's he looking for here? Fizz 2 would be helpful. Kale 2 is okay. Obviously, he's a long way away from a Kai'Sa 3 at this point.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
geez, effort.
Saihan is gonna. I mean, not Saihan. Shendu is gonna start falling off really soon.
Yeah, I
And
mean he's got the
I
mech.
mean, that's just how it is with mechs, though. You have a huge gap from 2-star to 3-star.
Well, I think part of it too is that he got the mech fairly early, but he never really found the items to make the mech good. You know,
Yeah.
like he doesn't have any chain vests at all on this mech. He could have built the GA on it, but put it on Kaisa instead. And while Kaisa is a more important part of Mech Infiltrator now than she was before, I'm still a little bit surprised that he doesn't want to put anything on the Mech. Just counting on getting a 3 stars, I suppose.
Looking at that just now, Solus is actually has gone that. I think he's actually pushed towards the Candyland comp actually with
Oh,
the
really?
Poppy. I mean I saw him with the Poppy 3 and maybe it's not the Candyland comp, but he does have a Poppy 3 with
I'll check it out. Nope, he definitely went for it. He only hit the TF3 and the Poppy 3, but he does have the 4 Vanguard setup, and that's generally becoming the accepted way to do this, is to go 4 Vanguard, 2 Chrono, 2 Sork. That's the more aggressive way, I suppose. The other way is to go for 4 Mystics.
Yeah, it seems like a fairly popular build that actually is very, very strong if you aren't getting contested.
Yeah.
And you know, when you roll down, you can tell if you're getting contested already by the way people play early game.
Right. So there's an Annie 2.
Shendu rolling down. He's just been like hanging around at like 70 gold too.
Yeah, really doing
I
a
think
lot
he's
as
just
far as
trying
like
to make sure
keeping his money up,
if
but
he needs to, he can love. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
That's fine. Oh, Shojin's on Kaisa. That's pretty nice. That helps a lot because of the Morello, she's doing a ton of damage. The Mech is just dying so fast though. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see Shendu maybe even making top 5 right now. That his hit points
He
are
needs to start
depleting very
rolling.
rapidly.
He needs to start rolling a little bit more, but I think he'll actually start hitting it very soon.
Definitely needs to.
Getting close.
Yeah, he doesn't need the Kazakhs. Oh, that's a big upgrade. Fizz 2
Yeah, the
and
Mech
finding another Kaisa.
straight comes up.
Yeah. Yeah, you might need to sell that Fizz. All right. Oh, going below 50.
Yeah. Oh, he just puts in a unit.
Yeah, so he had a Kale, I think, a little bit earlier, but sold it, so doesn't have access to Valkyrie. But Valkyrie is not quite as important with the Kaisa 2.
Yeah, it's only really strong when Kaisa hits 3.
Right. Before then, probably Sorcerer is your best bet. Leona juking out of the Fizz ultimate. Wow. But oh man.
There
Oh
are 2
no.
GAs on
Saihan is
the.
a double GA Jin. That is really unfortunate.
I think he just wanted to
Basically,
finish. He completed the item because
because you wanted
what
to
is it?
waste it.
He just didn't want to waste a chain vest, you know, because he didn't have IE. So and there's no. He already had the sword on her.
There's, I mean,
Wow, he
maybe,
might
but
actually hit this Fizz
I think
3 with the way this is going.
well, hopefully Saihan can find another Jin too, because that is pretty tragic to have a GA just languishing on one of your Jins.
Yeah,
Delicious Milk hits Xerath too, actually. That's big.
yeah. Milk is making his comeback.
Yep. All
Soju
right,
actually,
Seraph's for MF, but she
Soju
dies.
actually ended up getting 8th, and he is already out.
Yeah, rough night for Soju so far. Pretty bad results in 3 games out of 4 so far. And finally, Shendu finds a win with a Mech Infiltrator.
Yep.
Still alive. And
No, and Saihan actually goes out.
Yep. I mean, double GA Jin. I think after that happened, he wanted to leave as fast as he could.
It's just unfortunate because he really needed the I think he just really wanted the Jin 2 at that point. I'm not sure if it was because of the carousel or if it was because of just trying to complete an item or something.
That's the only way I could think of that possibly happening, but that is unfortunate. So let's see. I think we're going on board with Solus. Yeah. Okay. So Solus running 4 sorcerers. Okay. So this is really cool. So he's transitioned from the early
To
3-star
force
1 cost units towards Star Guardians actually. 4 Sorc, 5 Star Guardian. But he's still got good side synergies with the Chrono and the Mystic. I like it.
He's just missing. He's just still missing one of the Star Guardians. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he would have switched instead of using.
Well, I
I
don't
don't,
even know if
I
you
don't
want to do
know.
that, honestly, because
I don't know because he wants the 2 Vanguard for his Poppy.
right. So I don't think you even need to go 6 Star Guardians here, honestly. I think the Soraka is just good healing. She gives you Mystic. I think he had a Lulu in there as well. So I
Yeah,
actually like this
the
better
extra
because
Star Guardians are just for the purpose of the Sork as well.
so if you put the Nico in, you would lose Chrono, Mystic, and Vanguard. So I think Nico is I think I would never go 6 Star Guardians here off of that.
I mean, if you think about it, if you had a Nico oh yeah, he's just switching off the Star Guardians for the Star Guardian Sorks for better Sorks.
Right. So now he has the flexibility at level 8 of choosing between 6 Sorcerer or having Mystic. And that is and so you can kind of tailor it based on what you're seeing in the lobby right now. If there's a lot of magic damage, you go Mystic. Otherwise, if you need to burst people down, Sorcerer. I think he's probably in the best place he could be against this Mech infiltrator player against Shindy
Yeah,
right now.
he did hit the 3-star Kaisa.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Poppy is a monster.
Yep. The other thing to consider too is
The
that
whole
the
time.
Poppy is carrying Ionic Spark, so that boosts the 4 Sorcerer damage quite a bit.
Yeah, as well as the fact that it boosts her own damage. She also has a Frozen Heart, which just stops attack speed too. They can't do anything to her.
Right. So when basically in the old traditional Star Guardians composition, the 2 mandatory items on Nico were generally GA and Ionic Spark. GA because it allowed Nico to ultimate twice during a fight, minimum,
Yeah.
and Ionic Spark because it just boosts the damage of the rest of your team, which you kind of needed only for a sorcerer. So we're seeing kind of an adaptation to this, and this is what I'm really happy to see this because this is what I was kind of thinking about a lot coming into this patch is maybe 2 Vanguard frontline sorcerer build of some kind can work. And I think this looks very solid.
Yeah,
I'm
this
I'm
is what you were
still
talking about earlier when we were on during the first set when we were talking about the transition out of a TF.
yeah. Yep. And I still don't know if I prefer the TF over other things. I think if you got a Vel'Koz too, you would probably put that in over the Twisted Fate. But then again, you want Chrono. So I don't know. I'm glad he's sticking with it. I'm not
I still think you stick with the Twisted Fate because he will carry you through for a long time. You just need, some other damage source. You can't just all in with the Zoe or something because the
well,
Zoe
yeah,
doesn't
Zoe
really
just
do
doesn't do much
anything.
damage. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is that I think it's cool to see him try it because I think it's worth exploring.
The TF crit with his cards, 825 damage.
Yeah, that does do a lot.
He's one shot the back line.
Hmm. So one of the fun transitions you can do out of a build like this, we saw him pass by the gangplank, but if you want to, if you're crazy enough, you can actually pick up a rumble and transition into gangplank and rumble for demolitionist with the sorcerer buff because
Yeah, so
you'll get a huge AoE, huge damage stun with that, which is kind of fun to use sometimes. But
yeah,
probably
the
not better
AoE
than
stuns are
the 2
great.
Vanguard in a lot of cases. Just a late game option.
Yeah, so looking over here at Godlike is running like a rebel, uh, more or less a rebel blaster comp.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I think
has
pretty natural too.
Guys has Aurelion 2 with no items, and it's just unfortunate that his Jinx is level 1. If the Jinx was a little bit higher level, I think he would have done much better.
Yeah, I think it looks like he had kind of a little bit of an odd game where maybe he was struggling with what transition to make in the late mid game, and then came across an Aurelion Soul 2 and
Yeah.
was able to, ride that for a little while. He did go out in fifth. Solus claims fourth as they leave at the same time. God, like a little bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, and they doing a lot better in this series actually, having with Kurum and Delicious Milk up at the top.
Yeah, Delicious Milk finally bringing the Dark Star play into a tournament. And he does have a Zereth too with double Rage Blade, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Zereth too. Milk was at 8th at one point, very close to getting out. And then after that carousel, straight up.
Yep, finding the Zereth, finding the
Takes,
Jin. So
takes out
definitely
Shindu.
Definitely the pieces you need, yeah. So it's a 1v1 between Karim and Delicious Milk. And what has Karim been playing? I haven't even been looking that closely at it.
He did Cybernetics one game, and then that was super unfortunate. I remember he accidentally put in 5 instead of 6
Brawler
Cybernetics
Blaster this game, it
fell
looks like.
out.
Yeah. All right, so on board with Karim now. And I'm just going to open up his stream real quick. 1 second. There we go. All right, yeah, so pretty strong Brawler Blaster composition. He's got okay
He actually
MF
hit
items.
some really nice units, and then so he's
Yeah.
got the right items as well.
I don't know. I'm feeling it for the Dark Stars, though. That Xerath 2 is just so scary.
Yeah, he has a lot of damage items on the Xerath.
Yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
gonna
Like,
blow everything up.
MF is strong, but Xerath can literally one-shot the entire backline. So, death cap
Yeah,
as
more or
well.
less. It's there's almost nothing you can do on this side.
Yeah, you can see him smiling. He knows, man. Like, that Xerath, like, nothing he's doing is beating that.
There's nothing he can do. The
Yeah.
Dark Stars are just gonna win.
Yeah, for sure. If he had like a Lulu 2 or something like that with double Shojins or something just out of the blue that he could like throw into the back line. But
I don't even know if that would have helped, because the more likely the Lulu would get one shot by the Xerath first.
you have to get the ult off first, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like this is all she wrote for Karm, probably. Trying to do the best he can.
Tried, but he ends up pulling a Jin with his Blitzcrank and doesn't do anything.
That said, though,
Wait. No, Jin will still kill everything.
Unless
Unless
Frank
things
might
start
get the hit
dodging.
here. Nope. Yeah, Jin's gonna win it. Yeah, and
But that was a lot closer than the other one.
Well, see, that's what makes Darkstar so good. If you can get to that like maximum Darkstar potential level, right? Where even if the Xerath dies, the Jin is still going to be doing a lot of damage, and if the Jin dies, the Xerath is still going to be doing a lot of damage. So,
Yeah, that's the big thing with Xerath. I mean, Xerath having Rage Blade is crucial to making sure that he gets the maximum value out of his ulti, since it's based on duration rather than attacks. And you do want to make sure that your Xerath is just pumping out damage, because either way, one of them is going to die instantly. The other one will probably stay alive a lot longer.
So let's take a look at tonight's scores so far. One more game to go. Shendu, though, 24, just 1 point ahead of Delicious Milk, who had 2 pretty solid mech games and now transitioning into Dark Stars. Meanwhile, Godlike, former League of Legends top laner extraordinaire, now TFT Pro, tied up with Karim at 15 apiece. Karim having a great game 3, Godlike suffering a little bit in games 2 and 3. Still tight middle of the pack here.
Yeah, I think overall, the middle of the pack is very, very tight and close together. Some people have had good games, some people have had really average games. You just have Sundu and Delicious Milk pulling forward of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, so Shendu definitely is standing out as the player to watch in this lobby, not just because he's in first place, but when we've been watching him, he's making a lot of really, really smart decisions in terms of leaving himself open for a lot of different paths, basically, and doing it in a way that doesn't sacrifice too much of his economy. So far, like everything I've seen in Shendu's play seems like really good in terms of variety of comps. He seems to have a very deep knowledge of how he can be as powerful as possible in a lot of different situations. So I'm loving watching Shendu right now. So I can't wait to see what he does in Game 4.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of different comps every game, and he hasn't really been sticking to one thing only. And so by being so flexible, he's shown a lot of his prowess as well. Milk is, with him now no longer being a mech only player, I'd say, is actually going to enable him to do a lot more other things. And he actually was the first person to actually play a Darkstar comp, a full on Darkstar comp in this tournament at this point.
Yeah, him and Solus pretty much the only ones willing to give it a shot. But man, if anybody thought of Delicious Milk as a mech only player, I think they're in for a rude awakening. sending a message in the Giant Slayer series, but now, ready to unleash himself on the rest of the lobby, I suppose. But
Yeah,
going
he took
back
off
to
his training weights.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we took off the 500-pound like Goku wristbands and stuff like that. Now
Yeah,
he's ready to.
now he's pivoting.
Yep, he's ready to flex. He's always really focused on finding the comp that felt the most broken and really trying to utilize that. If you go back to set two, he Frodan and I casted a tournament where he really was trying to push the blender comp a lot, which was
Oh yeah.
the old blademaster nocturne comp that was really big during a large part of set two. So he just really likes to identify what the strongest comp, quote unquote, in the meta is, and then just really try to perfect that. So cool to see.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of things, different things in set one, set two. He set himself apart in set one by being one of the first players to actually really climb very, very high up in the ladder with a huge gap. I think there was at one point like a 400-point gap or something between first and second in LP gains. And
Oh, good.
he's always been the one player who really finds something broken and only plays the broken comp.
Right. So, what will he play in game number 4? We're getting that lobby started. The last lobby of the night. It's been an awesome night of TFT. It's been really, really fascinating seeing how the players from two different regions have been tackling the new patch. It's been really neat to see how aggressive the Chinese players seem to be in terms of handling their gold economy. And it's just been really neat to see everybody flex with different compositions. So here we are, another normal lobby, our third one in the row. And we are set for the final game. Make a prediction. I'm putting you on the spot, Yuuj. Who's going to take it?
My prediction, I'm gonna go with Solus for this one. Solus Solus is the guy who's supposed to have the 100% tournament win rate here going on. He always used to talk about
We
this.
already lost that this week. Too late.
Well, he lost it this week, so he needs the redemption.
Yeah.
And so, I hope he at least gets to, win one of these games.
Well, a couple different stories with that in this lobby. Ooh, the early Darius. You'll love to
Oh,
see it. And
is it too late to change my choice and just say milk because of the Darius?
you can if you want to. I won't hold it against you.
Hmm. I definitely think the Darius is going to do a lot here, so I'm just going to say milk now.
All right. We'll see what items he gets to support that. Meanwhile, kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying earlier, Seoul is definitely looking to get back on track as far as winning tournaments goes. But Soju from Cloud9, Crowan's teammate, is another player I'm going to be watching because he just barely missed out on the top 8 of Giant Slayer series, and he's a very talented player. So I know this is going to be another opportunity to try to jump back into that top lobby on Sunday. But this tournament's a little bit different. This tournament is a marathon. It is not a or it's going to be a tournament about endurance basically, because you're going to be playing a lot of games, a lot of nights in a row, and you got to stay at that peak mental level. So this is a really unique test of players' mental fortitude, I think.
Yeah, I think you get to show off your gamer stamina basically.
Yeah, this
Being
kind of
able,
reminds me almost of like the old like MLG StarCraft 2 tournaments where it's like a lot of so mentally intense games over a really short time, over a weekend basically.
yep, it is much more of a marathon, but being able to stay at the peak of your game, that's also just straight up another skill to have.
Mhm.
I know these players, a lot of them just grind ladder day after day, and you
Me
know
too, man.
luckily this is one of their peak times for a lot of them players who tend to like playing at this kind of time in North America.
Right. So Shendu with the cybernetic start, and that obviously is a very strong way to go early on. Looks at the items he got 2 belts early, which is a little bit awkward, but there's always the hope that one of those belts can become a red buff, right?
Oh yes, red buff is the dream.
So what would you put on who? Oh, so belt goes on Fiora, sword goes on Leona. So prioritizing putting the items he's most likely to move on the easiest champions to swap out.
More or less, I would
Yeah.
agree. Saihan
Yep.
actually had really good rolls in terms of units really early on. He hit like multiple 2 stars and was able to actually level up to 4.
It's impressive. Saihan definitely with a strong start off of that 2-star Zaya. Shendu now though, a couple different options here. It seems like you always buy the Darius, you always buy the Graves. There are certain units now that we've sort of established in set 3 that are just always buys, right? Because they work with so many different items. They can carry you so well in the early game. We see Shendu trying to utilize that right now.
Yeah, more or less, Graves is one of the strongest one cost units due to the fact that he has the his smoke screen, and the smoke screen can change the tide of the battle really, really easily. And so that's why people tend to just want to pick up Graves anyways.
Yep, for sure.
Alongside with the whole space pirate thing, and then Darius. If you get a 2-star Darius, you're in luck.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of items to really make him pop off. But the cybernetic start is still one of those tried and true, like really, really awesome early games. You just get a lot of stats, right? It's one of the few ways you can make up for not finding some 2 stars early. So when you combine that with the fact that he has found 1 2-star early, he's in pretty good shape. And I like that he's staying at 3. I like that he's prioritizing the economy here. Hits 4 naturally, and yeah, could just throw in the blasters. Very smooth sailing for Shendu so far.
Yeah, he does have the units that he needs, so he can more or less, not invest too heavily in like leveling and win streaking.
Mhm. So at this point, if he doesn't find the chain vest, what would you do if you were Shendu?
If there's no chain vest,
If you don't find the chain vest on the carousel,
I would go I might go for a cloak to make a Zephyr on the Fiora.
do you find that something that some of the Chinese players prefer to do a lot? Is early Zephyrs? Because I feel like that's something that kind of comes and goes in the North American scene.
I think early Zephyrs depend on like if you have the items for the situation. An early Zephyr and will it's basically the same as leveling up early. It gives you the more opportunity. In this case, though, I wouldn't get the cloak because it's on the I guess maybe still, even though it's on Leona.
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of force where the Zephyr is, but you can kind of move it around a little bit. I think he might want to look at something like, a tier. Oh, interesting.
Maybe redemption,
Well, I think
or maybe he's just setting up because he did have a Kaisa on.
there's the
So
Kaisa opportunity. He also has a sword as well. And if you think about what units Darius pairs well with, one of them is Rakan, if you look at the Space Jam build. So
yeah,
he could be thinking about turning that into a Spear of Shojin later on. He did pick up the Jinjiao as well. So we'll have to check back in a little bit later. On board with
yeah.
Soju.
Soju looking like he's doing something with the TF here. Looking
Yep.
for a reroll build, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Shojins. All right. Spear of Shojin is becoming a higher priority item across the board, I think. It's just nice to have late game. It's just one of those better late game items to throw on like a Lulu or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty quickly established that Vanguard Chrono is the best for 4-unit combination
Yeah,
in the
probably. Yeah.
beginning. If you're able to hit that, Soju is he's actually had quite a bit of luck this game considering what his units are and how much eco he has.
Yeah, he's got a good amount of 2 stars, right? Yep, with 30 gold, it is nice. Let's see.
So
So
yeah, he could have 50 gold after the Terror Bursters.
I've got a feeling he's going to be hyper rolling. It's really
Yeah, so
looking
it's
like
definitely
it.
he's gonna have 50 gold, but he'll probably hyper roll that.
Yeah,
And so it's still a ridiculous amount of gold to have.
aside from the Caitlyn, he has not bought anything outside of the 4 units people are
That
rolling for
one
a lot.
card.
TF can't quite do it.
That one card throw killed 4 units.
Yeah. That's why TF3 can carry for so long in the mid game.
Yep.
Let's see. He's got a sword sitting on the belt or the belt on the bench as well. That can be a whole number of things. The Zoe.
There's the Zoe.
So almost guaranteed to hit that.
He doesn't even have to really roll for it either. He sold his
Yeah. Yeah, she's not part of the Elite Four. Yep. Maybe that's what we should call this comp, is the Elite Four.
Oh, maybe that's it would be better than Candyland, I think.
Yeah, I don't really get Candyland.
It's just because of the Poppy, I think.
But it's not Lollipoppy.
Yeah, I know, but you know, you have a Zoe that looks like candy, so
I suppose.
you have Zoe, you have Poppy. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it, okay?
Oh, simultaneous Terror Burster kills. The dream. All right, so let's watch this hyper roll. Here we go. Finds Zoe. All right, good. Picks up the Jace as well. Buys all the 1 costs. Oh, do you want the Fioras? Okay. Oh, so is he actually doing this like Predators back in the day? Just buying all the 1 costs?
Yeah, he's buying all the 1 costs so that they can lower it, and then if you stack 3 1 costs, it just makes it easier to.
Well, the other advantage to doing that with 1 cost is that you don't actually lose money. Because if you combine like anything more than a 1 cost, you take a gold loss from selling it again. But the 1 cost, feel free to, like you said, buy it, conserve it, and oh, he's still rolling.
I don't know why I don't know if I would still keep rolling because he hadn't found any TFs while rolling down, so that was really unfortunate.
So the reason that he's still rolling is because he sees, I think he knows a couple other people are doing it as well.
Maybe.
That
We haven't had a game where multiple people rolled down yet, so.
Well, that was not the greatest roll ever. I mean, he does have two star poppies, so he's not done yet. He stayed close to 20 gold at least.
Yeah, I think at this point he's just gonna eco back up and then roll down at least before roll down another time.
His items are a little bit awkward for the comp too. I mean, I guess, for Vanguard can maybe make some use of that, but he's going to probably want to wait a little bit for using some of those items because things like Giant Slayer, not great. Obviously, Deathblade is not going to be too helpful. Could really use a GA, though. Check this out. Infiltrator.
He's definitely probably just going to hold those items for as long as he can.
Yeah, I wonder. Delicious Milk, though, starting to look like he might be back to his old mech ways.
Yeah, looks like it. The way he likes to play mech is usually he throws in pirates as long as they can to generate more money so that he has the money to do mech.
Yep, that's definitely
Infiltrator,
good.
and so he can roll down a lot more easily.
All right, so what's the plan? Sells the Ash. I was about to be like, all right, what's he going to use this for? That's a little bit surprising that he's holding onto the Ash. So no surprise that he sells that there. Still trying to pick up some of these 1 costs.
I think he's committed at this point.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the weakest board. It's not great, but it's not super weak. Yeah, kind of blaming that person there. I forgot. I didn't see who exactly that was. But also contesting some of the units. But the thing is you can have 2 people hyper rolling for 1 cost, and everybody finds our 3 stars because there's just so many of them. So it is one of those comps that you can play contested and still do fine.
For sure.
Just a little bit of bad luck, maybe. Wow, TF getting so many ults off. That was almost enough to win it.
Unfortunately, not quite enough. Sendu actually has really good econ. Soju's actually on a 4 losing streak, so surprisingly he hasn't lost that much health, so he's been barely losing.
Yeah, it has been close.
Which is the best you can ask for when you're losing rounds.
So he probably wants the Ionic Spark. Might just want the Wukong. Honestly, Wukong with an Ionic Spark is a pretty sick pickup anyway. Works well with the 4 Vanguards, which is what you want to generally go into. Oh no, it gets taken. That's really rough.
Yeah, it looked a lot like you wanted that Wukong.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, the 4 Vanguard start is, or the 4 Vanguard transition is what a lot of people are thinking is a good way to go out of hyper rolling for the 1
Yeah,
cost.
you really do need the Ionic Spark for just for Vanguard in general.
Yeah, well, hitting an item or hitting a champion with an like that with an item that you already want on him is pretty nice. I like this though. I like putting the death cap on TF. You know, you might as well power him up as much as you can. He's thinking about it.
At least for now. At least for now. I think the way he should play this is probably replace the TF with something else later on in the game. And
Well,
just use
with it only being 2 stars, yeah, I think that's the way to
Yeah.
go. But for now, just trying to make the strongest board he can. And already we
He's
have a
gotten
mech
his
online for
mech.
Huya. What, 2 fizzes already? That's
Wow.
crazy.
He's still got pretty good mech items too.
Yeah, he actually does. That's a very tanky, very solid mech start.
Yeah, just now needs damage items for the rest of his team.
Yep. Runs into Carmex, who has a pretty strong Lucian, actually, but maybe not quite strong enough to win this one. Oh, he's dodging away, though. Yeah, I don't know, man. This Lucian is tough. That's enough.
For sure.
Yep.
Currently
A lot of
really
people...
doing pretty well this game in
Yeah.
terms of keeping a streak.
Yep. He and Godlike are the only 2 players on fire right now. Fizz 2 already at 3-6. Wow. That feels
That's
good.
a really early Fizz too, especially because he's still level 6. It's not like he leveled to 7 either.
Yeah, nothing like hitting the Fizz 2 before the Annie 2.
Oh yeah.
That happens sometimes, though. I feel like that happens more often with Mech than anything else. I'm so confused because I had a game where, no joke, I hit a Fizz 3 before a Rumble 2. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, that just happens sometimes. Sometimes you just keep hitting those fizzes and you can't hit like any 2 costs.
Yeah, uncontested. Nobody else was taking the Rumbles. I just wasn't getting it. Wow, like Huya tried to send us into the Phantom Zone a couple times on his stream.
Yeah, I think he's really happy. He's somehow managed to hit all these fizzes really early. Makes no sense.
All right, so doing a little bit of scouting around. Why does he keep doing that? Stop it.
I think it's more like a reflex when you like tab around a lot. Like when people play League of Legends, they like to keep spamming tab. In his case, I'm guessing he just keeps alt tabbing instead.
Could be. All right. He noticed the other prospective Mech infiltrator player, but where he already has the Fizz too. Like, there's nothing stopping him now. Just keep going, Mech. You are doing just fine.
I don't know. I feel like he should probably hold on to his items, but at the same time, it feels like Ionic Spark could be really good on Kaisa as well.
It is nice. I think the item that I'd be thinking about too is also Quicksilver Sash, just to make sure Kaisa gets the maximum amount of ults off.
Yeah.
Because he's got potentially pretty solid Kaisa items in QSS, GA if he finds a sword, and then Demo Spat if he finds a spatula.
So one thing that Huya did is instead of rolling at 6, he just leveled up to 7.
Yep. Interesting.
Which is not how NA likes to play Mech.
Yeah, that's it's very bold. And you really need to make the most out of your synergies if you decide to do something like that. It's a little bit surprising because it does, I suppose it gives him a slightly better chance of finding the Rumble. And it does let him add in Sorcerer as well. Or Valkyrie, but probably Sorcerer for the moment.
I think it might. I'm not sure if it has much to do with the recent changes to odds with the 6 and 7, because I believe that you have even less odds of getting one costs now at 7. I'm not sure.
I believe so, with it being 19%, or it might have been 14 in the past. I'm not sure. You definitely have less of a chance of getting 3 costs at 7. It went from 40 down to 35, but I can't remember all the
Oh,
changes.
maybe that got shifted down to over to the one cost.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I didn't commit it all to memory. Not yet. The patch is only a day old.
Yep.
You know, it's funny because I feel like I'm not noticing as much of a difference in terms of fizzults after the mech explodes as I thought I would. But I think maybe this particular game might be skewing my perspective because he has a fizz 2 so early.
Yeah, it's basically if you have a Fizz 1, then usually a lot of the time it's just not even gonna ult.
Yeah. Shaco
He's
2 is a nice little boost.
not keeping his KL because chances are he's never gonna get it in.
So because the other mech player was contesting his rumbles and his annies, that's the other reason why he found the fizz 2 earlier.
He's shifting
Just
his
kind of pure
items.
luck. Yeah, Frozen Heart on Kaisa has become pretty popular. I like that. So looks like it might be Ionic Spark on the mech now, or
Maybe.
QSS actually. Oh, he's already got a
Bolas
QSS.
actually
Never mind.
has a Acel here.
Yeah, early Reliant Soul.
He did the old strat basically. Fast 8, roll down all your gold. Get the
Yep.
Acel.
GP and friends like early in the patch,
Yeah.
or early in the set,
Early set 3.
or like late set 2, where everyone was going for Singed. All right,
days.
we'll check in with Huya later. Now it's time to go see somebody else's board, which I think is Kuramex, our current lobby leader. Let's check it out. So finds the early Echo, which may explain why he is looking so healthy right now. Oh wow! Finds the Aurelia too.
Cybernetic. Wow, he's set. You can even put the make an Ionic on your Echo. Probably gonna wait for items though.
Yep, I would say so.
There's
Good
a
to just sit at
Shojin
40
on
gold
the
here
buy.
and build.
That's really interesting, actually. The fact that there's a Shojin on that buy.
Yeah, I mean, to get her jumping from carry to carry, I think it could be pretty useful. And if you think about it, with this composition, there's not a lot of other champs, not a lot of other units that would really put it to as good of use as Vi does. She's going to run back and hit the Zoe now. Oh, no, she didn't hit the Zoe. She hit the TF instead.
Well, Soju ended up getting the Poppy 3, so the Poppy 3 has just been carrying him for the last few rounds, I'd say.
Oh, does he get the ult? No, TF, or Lucian, rather, finishes him.
Yeah, the Poppy 3 is ridiculously strong.
Should have had the double Titans Resolve Poppy 3. Yeah.
Take what you can get.
Yep. I had earlier today, I had double Titans Resolve, Bramble Vest Poppy 3. And she just walked around and deleted teams.
Yeah, that
It was
sounds
amazing.
just pretty disgusting. Godlike and K3 Soju are just basically playing the same comp. Godlike ended up with all the TFs, and so that's why Soju doesn't have any of them. And then meanwhile, Soju has the Poppy and the Zoe.
Right. Oh, this fight's looking a little bit rougher, but no, in the end, the blasters come through one more time.
Unfortunately for Sendu, his Fiora didn't die until the very end.
Yeah, she's supposed to die early.
It likely would have made a huge difference right there.
Well, Poppy versus Rumble 2, Rumble 1 rather, yeah. That's definitely a fight that Poppy 3 is going to win. All right, so Kermix, what does he want off of these Arc Raptors? Let's see. Maybe some items for Aurelia. Items for Echo would be nice.
Oh, there's a Xerath with 2 Rage Blades.
Oh, wow. Could be very strong if it's kept safe.
Yeah, it depends if Saihan can stay alive with it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, okay.
There's a GA and a Morelos.
Yeah, so really good items. And there's a couple different uses for that, possibly. I was gonna say, yeah. Now you switch red buff.
Definitely just instantly like remakes it.
Yep, gets a GA onto Aurelia, and now Morelos maybe on the Lucian,
Morelos.
or
No,
not
I
the
would
Lucian. On the
Morelos on
I
the
meant the Echo.
Echo.
Yeah, Echo. It's been 6 hours. My brain is starting to turn off.
All good. And this is as much a marathon for us as it is for the players.
It definitely is. Yeah, this is definitely the most TFT I've casted in a row. Zephyr on Echo. Okay.
Zephyr's
Yeah.
Zephyr's still definitely a good item choice,
Solid,
especially
like,
with the comp that he's running.
oh my gosh, do you see that Poppy? That Poppy 3 has 2 Caesar up portals. That's 6,000 health of minions coming out of it.
Yeah, but it doesn't really make a difference when it's when she's the last person dead.
Not as much, no.
Yeah, but 2 Z0 portals.
That is a lot of meat to chew through, though.
Yes.
Ah, the MF. Okay, we'll have to go back and check that out later. GP's just trying to find.
Saihan and his Xerath too.
Yep.
6
Finding
Dark Star.
Xerath 2 would be pretty important. Needs one more. Just one more Xerath.
Or even a Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, that Lulu has great items. I would take the Lulu as well. So. Yeah, so Saihan, or Saihan rather, playing the Dark Stars. So we are seeing a lot more Dark Star pop up in this this lobby than the last one.
Unfortunately, he is going to be very low after that.
Yeah, it gives misfortunes
1
ultimate hug.
HP.
Oh
I don't
man,
know if
on
he'll
the
make it to
verge
the
of going on
carousel.
Yep.
If he made it to the carousel, it would be really good for him because he'll very likely get one of those 5 costs to 2 stars.
Possible. MF not going to be too helpful.
Nope.
Yep, that's rough. But it is only a 6% chance, so you can't count on it too much. Now it's all about positioning. Usually Lulu in like a medium row at 1 star has a better chance of getting an ult off. I think he's just really worried about hitting one of the Mech infiltrator players.
Yeah, if they just dive into his backline, he's in trouble. Oh, he got Kurum. That's even worse for him.
Yep.
This is probably the worst matchup for Dark Stars.
That Aurelia. She's got the GA as well, which makes it much more difficult to deal with her. Yeah. And that's going to be death for Saihan. He is out. That is the end of the day for him.
Yep. Soulless.
Yep. Solus, of course, going for the 6 Rebels build, which is really interesting. I want to see his board in a second. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
It's pretty much very similar to the old Gangplank and Friends build that he's going.
Right.
So he doesn't already have a GA. Solus is going to want a GA. Chances are they're not getting him.
Yeah, GAs usually don't last very long in the carousel.
Yeah, they're usually the first pick, unless someone doesn't need it. But who wouldn't need a GA, right?
Yeah. I like the other Shojins. That will just make things go even quicker. So Shojins, without knowing what the items
he has a level 2 GP though.
What's that?
He does have I think that's a 2 cost GP, a 2-star GP.
He has another one in his bench, but it's hard to say. It does look a little bit bigger. It might just have an item as well. But yeah, Shojin's on that GP. Oh no, he's got what? He's got full items on that GP too. That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's I think Solus might be trying to go for 9. Uh,
9
his
rebels.
he's down to about 2 lives left.
Oh, you mean level 9? Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you were saying 9 rebels. And I'm like, no, it's not possible.
Yeah,
But yeah, level 9.
level
What does he
9,
really get at level 9? I guess Mystic would be the biggest thing, possibly.
Mystic, or you can get another. You can get a blademaster. There's a lot of things you can do.
Well, we'll see if he can get through the mech. Just has the pilots remaining. Aurelian Soul doing a lot of damage before going down.
Yeah,
Barely pulls it off.
Takes down Huya, barely though. Kerm's still up there streaking. Well, I think a lot of for a K3 Soju and Godlike, they're basically kind of cannibalize each other's comps.
Yeah, pretty much. Godlike looks like he might have the slightly better version. Ooh, another Aurelian Soul. So close.
Yeah, he's probably just gonna roll. He's just gonna roll down and make sure he gets the level 2 Aurelian Soul before anything else.
Yeah, maybe takes like one more loss and then goes for it. Let's see. Having the Demolitionist is so nice too.
Yeah, it's super useful, especially for rebels, because you need that demolitionist for GP to be effective nowadays.
Right, gives
Before it was
Aurelian
just
Soul a bit more
damage,
time
but
too.
now it's
Mana Reaver slows down the GP ult a lot, but that damage, oh boy.
yeah, there's a stun, but because of the timing, it actually
Oh
it's
no!
kind of helpful.
Oh, MF only ults one person.
MS are just changing their angles mid shot.
Yep. Oh, that was so close. You know, that if he hits the 2-star MF, if he hits the 2-star Aurelian Soul, that might be a fight that he can come back and win next time.
Yep, there's the 2-star Aurelian Soul.
Oh yeah. All right, so now he's got a shot. Now to get some items. Actually, that Luden's would be pretty decent.
Helpful on MF for sure, or even on Aurelian Soul.
Yeah. Where it's an Aurelian Soul 2, I feel like it's a little bit more tempting for him, but we'll see what he prioritizes. As he gets easy Ludens. Let's see.
Yeah, he's definitely going for 9 now. Just looking by what he just did, he leveled up.
Yep, I would say so. All right. Meanwhile,
Yeah, he's
Carmex is
fully leveling up. Probably gonna roll down here.
Kale 2 for Delicious Milk, and he's the other player that I think we need to kind of keep an eye on. I like the shield for MF. You might as well commit to just making her as strong as you can. I do. Yeah, I feel like it makes the most sense on
It
Aurelian
makes
Soul.
more
You can
sense on
see her
MF, so she's
struggling.
gonna ult faster for sure.
Sure, if it was an MF2, I would agree 100%, but you can see he's really struggling. He does end up going with the MF in the end. But if she dies right away,
I
that's
think it is a really hard decision to make at that point because
it is. And it ended up working out that time. Wow, really working out. All right. So does this
I'm very surprised that he didn't lock it.
Lock what?
Because he would have been able to get at least a level 2 Soraka, unless he's not and instead of like greeting for what he, probably is doing right now, is it's kind of greedy.
Yeah, I think probably
Probably
the
going
MF2 is the higher priority than the Soraka 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at what Delicious Milk is up to right now.
So K3 Soju and Godlike both have fallen due to I think they just because of the effect that them both going for the same reroll comp did, they ended up not being able to be strong enough to transition.
Yeah. A lot of gangplanks out there right now. Delicious Milk even having multiple gangplank 2s on the board actually. Delicious Milk has his to give the Mech Demolitionist, which is nice. So pretty strong version of this comp actually. Good mech items.
Oh, that's unfortunate. His mech didn't ult.
Yeah, it gets popped by the. It looked good, but got popped by the MF. And that's the end of the line for Delicious Milk. I don't think he survives this.
Down.
Wow.
Yep.
Goes out
But he goes out on fourth.
Yeah, that's not bad. Manages to claim a fourth. That's solid. Exits the game immediately. He's done. Good night, Delicious Milk.
Yeah.
All right. So there's an MF in the shop.
So now we've got Sundu, Solus, and Kurum left.
Yeah. Shendu again, securing at least a top 3. So he has had a pretty awesome night. And will probably be our first place player since Delicious Milk went out in 4th.
Yeah, that seems very likely since there's a huge gap between everyone else.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to break down. We'll see. It's only day 1 anyway.
Yes, it's only day 1. We still have 3 more days to go.
Oh, yeah. So Solus, meanwhile, taking a shot. Oh, no, we're on Kurum. Yeah.
Yeah, Sundu goes down, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to open
So now we're down to Solus and Kurum.
Okay, so Shendu with a 3rd place. Still a strong finish there. Solus grabs a Zephyr, which is always a great late game item. Kermex decides to go with the Warmogs, actually.
Yeah, both of them were racing for that Zephyr.
Yeah, so the Warmogs, I suppose what you can do, because he's got items on all of his cybernetic characters except for Leona, but you're not going to put it on Leona.
He
finds the Aurelia 3.
That's going to make a huge difference for this game.
It certainly will. You're free, bro. Yep, Aurelia 3 is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. He just has to dodge the Zephyr.
Yeah, I could just hear Solus over here right now.
You did not dodge the Zephyr. But it's probably okay because it's Aurelia 3.
I don't think you can kill that. Oh wait, Aurelia got CC'd.
Yeah, but oh no, he's still okay though. It's Aurelia.
He just killed the full.
Come on, yeah, it's Aurelia 3 with the Hextech Gunblade. We know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that was even about as like unideal as a setup as he could have possibly gotten to. Got Zephyr and got CC'd right away. And I guess we're going to move over to Solus's view to see what will probably be the last fight. So how do you prepare for this?
What Solus has to do is pretty much he needs to get like a perfect CC onto the Aurelia and then kill it again.
Yeah, you have to have this like infinite chain CC, which isn't going to happen. I think the big thing that would have helped him out is Misfortune 2. But that said, Aurelia coming back from the dead and just insta-giving everybody. That'll be it.
Game.
Carmex taking the win in game number 4.
Aurelia still showing that Aurelia is one of the strongest units in the game.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That is no surprise at all. So there it is, the first day of Starside Invitational. Set number 2. The players from China, North America, duking it out. And we saw some really interesting results. I'm sure we're going to take a look at the standings bracket in a moment. Let's take a look at the lobby scores. First, Shendu does end up on first with a really, really solid day. 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 3rd. That is really, really good. Yeah,
that's an actual phenomenal placing. And then you have Delicious Milk right underneath with 2 4th places, a 3rd place, and a 1st.
Yeah, almost right up there with.
I mean, they're just going out within rounds of each other, and able to, keep it close. Right behind them, you have Kurum.
So what's really neat is Delicious Milk did actually get that win with Dark Stars as well. So showing us a little bit more of a flexibility, which is cool. Than we saw in Giant Slayer series. So yeah. So overall scores across all of the across both lobbies, because remember each day we're mixing these lobbies up. So the lobbies we saw tonight will not be the same ones for tomorrow rather. So in overall standings, Shendu also number 1, Delicious Milk also number 2, but then Hong Lian at 3rd place. Any surprises on that list for you, Yuuj?
I am not particularly surprised, other than the Soju having a really bad day, managing to end up with very few points at the bottom of the ladder. He unfortunately ended up with bottom four for all of his games today.
Right. It's a rough start. Thankfully, there are 2 more days of group stage matches and then a finals on Sunday. So a lot of opportunities for Soji to come back, but he will need to play really well. So taking a look at tomorrow's schedule, you can see how the lobbies are getting changed around a little bit. We're going to start off with Becca, Ine, Solus, Delicious Milk from NA, and then Shanwen Yu, Hude, Honglian, and Shendu. I'm trying, man. It's midnight, and I've tried to pronounce his name so much. And then set 4, you can read it yourself. But we got a lot of great players playing each other.
Yeah. Well, we have K3 Soju, Kuram, Kiyun, Kroen, Godlike, Saihan, and Shi2X, and Anye for the last day.
You took the easy
For
one.
day 2. And those both the series will be very competitive if today has said anything.
It's gonna be really neat, and this tournament is already delivering. I was really psyched to kind of see what the players from China had to show us, and there is definitely a difference in terms of style, in terms of economy management, in terms of composition choice. So it's cool to see when scenes collide, like we're seeing this tournament, and at the same time, everyone worldwide is dealing with the new patch, dealing with the big changes from yesterday. We saw new comps, we saw reworks of old comps, and so it's been really awesome.
Yeah, they've all been, Chinese players tend to be far more aggressive in terms of the way they manage their economy and their leveling up. And so they speed up the momentum of the game a lot, especially depending on which type of galaxy you're playing. Everything changes up so much that you're able to see so many different play styles, especially like I think the one that stood out the most to me during this today overall was when Hong Lian did his open fort strat in the first set. He just outside of just a few units, he basically open forted the whole way.
Yeah, and it worked fairly well for him. Had a pretty solid end of the day, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he ended up getting first for that game, and it was quite quite exciting to watch.
Well, after a brief period of players having an opportunity before the matches tomorrow to reevaluate their comps, reevaluate the styles, we're going to get to see another 8 lobbies. It's going to be awesome. I think that's going to pretty much do it for us tonight. I don't think there's anything else I'm missing before we close it out. That is it. Okay, our producer's giving me the okay, so I'll do just that. Thanks for watching so much, guys. The first day of the Starside Invitational, DoA with you, also Yuuj. We've had a ton of fun casting the games, and we'll be back with you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific to further see the 10.9 meta develop. Don't miss it. Enjoy your day. We'll see you then.
Yep.